Chapter 1428. She just doesn't want to help. That's why she's deliberately making things difficult for us. If she really wanted to help, she wouldn't be like this. AI. Then Xiao Feng. Should we agree or not? If we agree, we'll give her 60%. If we don't agree, we have no other choice. After hearing Zhao Ping's words, Ma Xiaofeng was somewhat unwilling. Sister Ping, what can we do? There's no way at all. If we continue like this, we'll only earn a few dozen copper coins a day. I'm afraid that the business won't be good. So Xiao Feng, we have to find her to cooperate. If we cooperate, even if we get 20%, we'll still earn a few hundred copper coins a day. It's much better than what we're earning now. I just want to give most of the money to Zhao Yun, so I'm unwilling, Zhao Ping muttered. Hearing Zhao Ping's words, Ma Xiaofeng's heart was even more tangled. On one hand, she was unwilling to give so much to Zhao Yun. On the other hand, she didn't want to only earn a few dozen copper coins a day. Sister Ping, why don't we pretend to agree? When we learn how to make breakfast later, we'll regret it. Even if she wants to make trouble, it won't work. Ma Xiaofeng's eyes turned as she calculated. Hearing Ma Xiaofeng's words, Zhao Ping nodded excitedly. Xiao Feng, you're right. This idea is really good. We can pretend to agree first and then regret it later. Why is my brain so inflexible? I didn't think of it. Xiao Feng, you're still the smart one. Ma Xiaofeng curled her lips and snorted coldly in her heart. With her intelligence, how could Zhao Ping compare? Sister Ping, then go and agree with her. And Zhao Ping ran in the direction of Zhao Yun's house. Now that she knew that she could earn more money, Ma Xiaofeng was relieved. As long as she saved enough money, her mother's but would be saved. Zhao Ping eagerly went to Zhao Yun's house and called out to Zhao Yun. Little Sister Yun, Sister Ping, have you thought it through? Zhao Yun saw Zhao Ping coming over and smiled. Yes. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Little Sister Yun, let's do as you say. You get 60% and we get 40%. Now you can tell me how to make breakfast, right? Zhao Yun said unhurriedly. What's the hurry? There's no proof. We have to make a written agreement now. We have to write down our agreement clearly in black and white. Otherwise, what if you go back on your words? Zhao Ping was stunned when she heard the written agreement. She didn't expect to need a written agreement, but Zhao Yun actually brought it up and thought of it. It was easy to go back on your words without a written agreement, but it was difficult to go back on your words after making a written agreement. This Zhao Yun was really good at scheming. Seeing Zhao Ping's pale face, Zhao Yun could almost guess. Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng probably said that they would go back on their words when they discussed it. Zhao Yun had guessed the two people's little schemes clearly. Naturally, he wouldn't give them a chance to succeed. Sister Ping, what's the matter? Can it work? If it doesn't work, then let's forget about it. Zhao Yun sneered and said, after all, there's no written agreement. In the future, it won't be clear, and it'll be troublesome if something happens. If you're sincere about cooperating, it won't be difficult to make a written agreement, right? Chapter 1429. I don't know if I'm shameless or not, but Big Sister Ping, if you sign a contract, you definitely won't be shameless in the future. Zhao Ping panicked and didn't know what to do. What's wrong? Big Sister Ping, you don't want to sign a contract. Are you thinking of being shameless in the future? Meeting Zhao Yun's eyes, Zhao Ping's expression stiffened. After trying hard to pull the corners of her mouth, she said, Of course not. Zhao Yun chuckled and said, That's good. Then, Big Sister Ping, let's sign a contract now. Big Sister Yun, there's no need to go through so much trouble, right? Zhao Ping smiled embarrassedly and pulled out an ugly smile. It's not troublesome. It's just writing a few words. Big Sister Yun, seeing Zhao Ping dilly-dallying, Zhao Yun couldn't help but sneer. Big Sister Ping, why are you hesitating? Do you want to sign a contract or not? Say it. If you don't, then let's forget about it. I don't want to have any disputes in the future. Also, Big Sister Ping, you're obviously not sincere. Naturally, there's no need for us to cooperate. Zhao Ping bit her lower lip. She was speechless at Zhao Yun's words. This B***TCH was forcing her to sign a contract. Great. Now how could she go back on her word? Should she go and discuss it with Ma Xiaofeng again? Big Sister Ping, or have you thought it through? I don't have that much time to waste with you. I'll say the ugly words first. If you don't agree to sign a contract now, don't look for me for this matter later. I don't have the leisure to play with you. Zhao Ping made up her mind and stomped her foot. I'll sign a contract with you. Zhao Ping was forced to do this. If she went to ask Ma Xiaofeng again, Zhao Yun wouldn't give her the chance. If she really couldn't go back on her word in the future, she would give Zhao Yun 60% of the income, and that was what she earned. The corner of Zhao Yun's mouth slightly raised. Seeing that Zhao Ping was tricked by her, she was very satisfied. In the end, when it came to scheming, Zhao Ping was still inexperienced in front of her. After getting Zhao Ping's nod of agreement, Zhao Yun turned around and went into the house to take a piece of paper. She dipped the brush in ink and wrote a few lines after a while, agreeing on the future profit sharing. When the brush landed, there were a few lines of delicate and pretty words on the paper. Mu Lianfeng watched from the side. When he saw Zhao Yun's handwriting, he sighed in his heart. Yun's handwriting was really beautiful and had a unique style. He admired Zhao Yun even more. After writing, Zhao Yun put away the brush and greeted Zhao Ping. Big Sister Ping, come over and sign your name. Zhao Ping frowned and walked over. When she saw the few lines on the paper, she muttered in her heart. Little Sister Yun, how do you know how to write? In addition to being surprised, Zhao Ping was also a little jealous. One had to know that it was very rare to see a woman who could write in the entire village. This was because the people in the village were very poor. Not to mention women, there were very few men who could read. Many families couldn't produce a scholar. Old Zhao's family could be considered relatively wealthy in the village. Otherwise, they wouldn't have produced 2 scholars. Therefore, Old Zhao's family more or less had some status in the village. Why? Don't I know how to read? Zhao Yun asked with a smile. Chapter 1430. Zhao Yun made up an excuse. I learned it from fifth uncle. What's the big deal about it? It's your fault for not learning from fifth uncle. You don't even know how good the resources are around you. Zhao Ping glared at Zhao Yun. Although she didn't say it, Zhao Ping felt a little upset. Why was she so stupid? Zhao Yun knew to learn from her fifth uncle, but why didn't she know? If she could also read, then she would naturally be different from ordinary women. As the saying goes, one's talent comes from being educated. If Qin Yuan knew that she could read, their attitude towards her would naturally be different. However, it was useless for Zhao Ping to be upset now. Some things were missed. Zhao Ping snorted and said to Zhao Yun, so what if you can read? It's not a big deal. Zhao Yun curled her lips and didn't argue with Zhao Ping. Okay, Sister Ping, hurry up and sign your name. Zhao Ping muttered. Zhao Yun, are you doing this on purpose? You know that I can't read. So how do you know how to sign your name? Sister Ping, although I know that you can't read, you can't even write your own name? Zhao Yun was really surprised. After all, illiterates in the 21st century could basically write their own names even if they couldn't read. It wasn't as if old Zhao's family didn't have a scholar. Could it be that he didn't teach Zhao Ping? Or was it that Zhao Ping was too lazy and didn't learn at all? Sister Ping, since you can't write your own name, then put your thumbprint. With that said, Zhao Yun took the ink pad and handed it to Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping hesitated for a moment, but in the end, she still pressed her thumbprint. Zhao Yun wrote a total of 2 contracts. Both of them signed their names. One was given to Zhao Ping, and the other was kept by herself. After waiting for the contract to be signed, Zhao Ping muttered, Sister Yun, now that the contract is signed, can you teach me how to make breakfast? Zhao Yun chuckled and said, sure. Okay, that's good. Zhao Yun had prepared some meat at home. After cutting half a gene, she began to teach Zhao Ping how to make it. Zhao Ping looked at it and muttered in her heart. It wasn't any different from what Liang Jinxiao taught. Why was the taste different? Sister Ping, what are you thinking about? Look carefully. I don't have that many ingredients to teach you a second time. Zhao Yun saw that Zhao Ping was in a daze. so she quickly reminded her. She didn't know what Zhao Ping was thinking at this time. Zhao Ping came back to her senses. However, she was still thinking in her heart. Since what she did was right, what exactly went wrong? After the stuffing was ready, Zhao Yun took out a packet of something. Zhao Ping couldn't recognize what it was. She saw Zhao Yun made some of this powdery stuff and mixed it into the stuffing, then said to her, Sister Ping, this is enough. Have you learned it? Zhao Ping frowned. She knew the other steps. They were no different from what Liang Jinxiao had taught her. However, she didn't know what was added to the last step. She guessed that the breakfast made by her and Ma Xiaofeng was so different from the breakfast made by Zhao Yun because of this last addition. But what exactly was this thing? Chapter 1431. Zhao Yun's lips curled into a mysterious smile. Zhao Ping had never seen such a thing before. She was afraid that such a thing didn't exist in this era. Zhao Yun didn't add anything else but fresh mushrooms picked from the mountains. These mushrooms were dried and ground into powder. In this era, there was only table salt and other simple seasonings. There was no such thing as monosodium glutamate or chicken essence to improve the taste. The powder made from these mushrooms had the effect of improving the taste of the ingredients when added to them. Therefore, it had a delicious taste when eaten. In the breakfast made by Zhao Ping, and Ma Xiaofeng, it was precisely because it lacked the powder made from the mushrooms that it lacked the freshness. Therefore, the taste of the snacks made couldn't be compared to Zhao Yun's. Zhao Yun naturally wouldn't tell Zhao Ping so easily. Instead, she faintly replied, Sister Ping this is my secret recipe. In the future, when you sell out, I'll give you more. However, I can't tell you how to make this thing. Zhao Yun had a bottom line when doing things. After all, she didn't trust Zhao Ping. Speaking of which, Ma Xiaofeng was even more suspicious. Ma Xiaofeng was a scheming person who knew if she would provoke Zhao Ping to turn around and not give her share of the money. Once Zhao Ping went back on her word, she would no longer provide Zhao Ping with the powder made from the mushrooms. Without the fresh taste, Zhao Ping's business would be the same as before. Zhao Ping stared at Zhao Yun. This little b asterisk tch was really scheming. She even deliberately guarded against her. Now that there was a written agreement in Zhao Yun's secret recipe, she had no choice but to give Zhao Yun a share of the money later. Zhao Yun in any case, I'm your sister. Why are you guarding against me? Zhao Ping complained with dissatisfaction. She had a lot of opinions about Zhao Yun's actions. Zhao Yun faintly said, Sister Ping, it's not that I'm guarding against you, but you have to be careful. Don't do business with Ma Xiaofeng. You'll be cheated by her. Do you really think she's so easy to deal with? From the beginning to the end, it's only profits. Only someone like you would happily bring her along to earn money. Zhao Yun's words made Zhao Ping very uncomfortable. She angrily glared at Zhao Yun and said, Don't try to drive a wedge between me and Xiaofeng. I won't listen. It's fine if you don't listen. I won't be the one to lose. Sister Ping, you're on your own. I'm too lazy to talk to you. It just so happens that I'm also too lazy to talk to you. Since Sister Ping has learned it now, take the things and leave. Zhao Yun said as she handed Zhao Ping a bag of powder made from mushrooms. After Zhao Ping got it, she angrily turned around and left Zhao Yun's house. She took the things and turned to Ma Xiaofeng's house. After arriving at Ma Xiaofeng's house, Zhao Ping told Ma Xiaofeng what happened. Ma Xiaofeng's face darkened. She didn't expect Zhao Yun to have so many tricks up her sleeve. All her evil intentions didn't work on Zhao Yun. Now there was no other way. She could only take one step at a time. It was fine as long as she could earn more money than now. Sister Ping, let's do this. Let's try the taste and see if it's different after adding this. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Chapter 1432. Zhao Ping said excitedly to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, it's really delicious. Ma Xiaofeng nodded lightly. He was curious about what kind of seasoning Zhao Yun had given him. Why did the taste change so much after adding it? It was simply too magical. He had never seen this kind of thing before, so he probably couldn't buy it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have needed Zhao Yun. Seeing that the matter was settled and it was getting late, Zhao Ping said goodbye and went back. She didn't dare to go back to the family Qin too late. These few days, Mu Chuanfang's temper had been very bad. Once she did something wrong, she would be scolded badly. It was terrible. When she went back, she definitely had to help cook dinner. Now that she was married, Zhao Ping realized that a person's temper could really be smoothed out by some things. She definitely didn't dare to throw a tantrum like she did in old Zhao's house. Otherwise, she would be tortured to death by the family Qin. Fortunately, Zhao Ping got the recipe from Zhao Yun, so the business was quite good for the next few days. Indeed, just as Zhao Yun said, there were at least 200 copper coins a day. Sometimes, there were even 400 to 500 copper coins. It was much better than before, when there were only a few dozen copper coins. Although it didn't meet the family Qin's expectations, the family Qin didn't continue to make things difficult for Zhao Ping. After all, earning so much money in a day was already a lot for a country bumpkin. Country bumpkins couldn't earn so much in a day if they did other businesses. At this rate, they could buy 1 mu of land in a month. In a year, the family Qin could buy at least 10 mu of land. In a few years, they could become the landlords of the village. They would go from being poor farmers to being rich. After a few more days like this, Zhao Ping earned some spare money and couldn't help but want to go to Yang City to buy some clothes. Unfortunately, a piece of clothing was not cheap. Every day, Zhao Ping had to hand over all the money she earned to Mu Chunfang. She could only secretly keep a few copper coins. He thought that he would be able to save quite a bit of money over time. However, it would take a lot of time for her to save up enough money to buy a dress. She didn't have the money to buy clothes, but she had enough to buy snacks. Those sweets, peanuts, and melon seeds were Zhao Ping's favorites. Moreover, it wasn't very expensive, so he didn't need to buy too much. He just needed to weigh it casually to satisfy his appetite. After setting up the stall, Zhao Ping tugged at Ma Xiaofeng and said, "Xiaofeng, we worked so hard to earn money. Why don't we buy some snacks to eat? You worked so hard, so you should reward yourself." Ma Xiaofeng frowned and declined. "Ping yeah, if you want to buy it, then buy it. I won't buy it." Zhao Ping looked at Ma Xiaofeng in confusion and said, "Why, Xiaofeng? These snacks aren't expensive. Buy some to satisfy your cravings." Ma Xiaofeng shook her head. "Ping, yeah, I'm not like you. I still need to save my money to treat my mother's illness." "Xiaofeng, what happened to your mother? Is your mother okay?" Zhao Ping asked worriedly. "I don't know if my mother is okay or not, but my mother's injuries are quite serious. Not only did the wound on her, but not recover, it became more serious. I think the village's doctor won't be able to treat her. I have to find a doctor in Yang City to treat her. However, the doctor in Yang City will definitely be very expensive, so I have to save more money and use this money to hire a doctor to treat my mother's illness." Chapter 1433. Xiaofeng. "All right, then you save it well. But how much will it cost? You've already saved 2 taels of silver." Ma Xiaofeng shook her head and said, "I don't know how much silver will cost, but 5 or 6 taels of silver should be enough." 5 or 6 taels. Then I'll have to save it for a few days." Ma Xiaofeng sighed and said, "Yes, I still have to wait. I don't know if my mother's injury can hold on." Zhao Ping patted Ma Xiaofeng's shoulder and comforted her. "Xiaofeng, don't worry, your mother will be fine. And I won't buy snacks with the money I have. I'll save some for you. When the time comes, you can use it to treat your mother's illness." Ma Xiaofeng looked at Zhao Ping emotionally and said to Zhao Ping, "Sister Ping, you're so good to me." Zhao Ping chuckled. "Xiaofeng, you're my good friend. Of course I'm good to you. Otherwise, who else can I be good to?" Just as they were about to go back, Zhao Ping suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. She covered her mouth as if she wanted to vomit. Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly asked, "Sister Ping, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" Zhao Ping vomited for a while before she recovered. She frowned and replied, "I don't know what's wrong. I just feel a little uncomfortable these days." I always feel like vomiting, especially in the morning. Vomiting? Sister Ping, are you sick? Do you want to see a doctor? It's very expensive to see a doctor. If you're sick, won't it cost a lot of money? Sister Ping, take a look first. Let's go to the clinic. The doctor's fee is only 10 copper coins. The expensive thing is the medicine. Take a look first and don't buy any medicine. Zhao Pinger nodded and felt that it was fine. All right, Xiaofeng, let's go to the clinic to have a look later. If there is any illness, we can know in time. It won't take too long. That's right, Sister Pinger. Your health is more important, Ma Xiaofeng said. She didn't really care about Zhao Ping, but she was now doing business with Zhao Ping. Without Zhao Ping, she couldn't make so much money in a day. For her own sake, she couldn't let anything happen to Zhao Ping. The two of them went to the clinic together. There were not many people at this time, so they quickly lined up and saw the doctor. The doctor glanced at Zhao Ping and asked faintly, "What's wrong with you? What do you feel uncomfortable?" "Doctor, I've been feeling like vomiting for the past few days. I don't know what's wrong. Want to vomit?" "Yes, especially in the morning." The doctor's eyes turned, and he seemed to think of something. He hurriedly said, "Give me your hand. I'll take your pulse." Oh, Zhao Ping responded and handed her hand over. After taking her pulse, the doctor took back his hand and smiled at Zhao Ping. "Miss, congratulations." Zhao Ping looked at the doctor in confusion and asked, "Doctor, why are you congratulating me? I'm not feeling well, and you're congratulating me. Do you want to see me feel uncomfortable?" The doctor smiled and waved his hand. "Miss, you misunderstood. There's nothing wrong with your body. The reason why you feel like vomiting is that you're pregnant." Hearing that she was pregnant, Zhao Ping was stunned. She had thought of many possibilities, but she didn't expect that she would be pregnant. Chapter 1434. Of course, Mississippi. Why would I lie to you? Your pulse is pregnant. I've been treating patients for so many years. How could I not know? After getting the doctor's answer, Zhao Ping was delighted. She smiled brightly and said to Ma Xiaofeng, "Xiaofeng, did you hear that? The doctor said that I'm pregnant." Like Zhao Ping, Ma Xiaofeng was stunned at first. When she came back to her senses, she smiled and said to Zhao Ping, "Sister Ping, congratulations. You're pregnant after being married for so long. When your husband's family finds out, they'll be overjoyed." Zhao Ping looked proud. Indeed, as Ma Xiaofeng said, a woman's status in her husband's family would be high when she was pregnant and gave birth to a child. Generally, women who couldn't give birth will be disliked by their husband's family. "Xiaofeng, let's go back quickly. I'll tell my parents-in-law and brother Xian the good news. They'll be very happy when they hear it." Ma Xiaofeng responded, "Okay, let's go back now." Zhao Ping sent Ma Xiaofeng to Shuilan village first. She thought that since she was already there, she might as well tell Liang Jinxiao the good news. She didn't go to old Zhao's house much these days because of what Liang Jinxiao said last time. Usually, she didn't have much to do, but this time, she was pregnant. If she told Liang Jinxiao about it, maybe Liang Jinxiao would feel sorry for her and send her more good food. After all, her mother still cared about her. With this thought, Zhao Ping happily went to old Zhao's house. Seeing Zhao Ping come over, Feng Zhangxia said sarcastically, "Pinger, you're back. Do you have something important to say this time? Or is your business doing well and you're sending money to your mother?" Zhao Ping glanced at Feng Zhangxia angrily. She ignored Feng Zhangxia and went straight into the room of the third branch. "Mother, mother," Zhao Ping called out a few times. After hearing Zhao Ping's voice, Liang Jinxiao looked in the direction of the door. Zhao Ping had already entered the room. Liang Jinxiao asked, "Pinger, what's the matter? Why are you here again?" Zhao Ping thought that Liang Jinxiao, "You lass, it's not that mother isn't happy to see you. Isn't it because I'm afraid that others will gossip?" "Mother, I'm here this time because I have something important to tell you." Liang Jinxiao tugged at Zhao Ping's hand and gestured for Zhao Ping to sit down. "Okay, tell me what you have to say. I'll listen." "Mother, I'm pregnant." "What?" Liang Jinxiao opened her mouth in surprise. She looked at Zhao Ping with uncertainty. "Mother, I said I'm pregnant. I want to see the doctor today. The doctor said I'm pregnant. Zhao Pinger explained. Liang Jinxiao was momentarily stunned. Pinger, you're pregnant. Mother, aren't you happy that I'm pregnant? Why do you have such a reaction? Zhao Ping frowned and asked unhappily. Liang Jinxiao smiled. How is mother not happy? Mother is just too happy. That's why she is like this. My family's Ping is pregnant so quickly. That's great. Chapter 1435. No matter what, Zhao Ping, it was her daughter. Which parent wouldn't want their child to do well? It was a good thing that Zhao Ping was now married and pregnant. With her in-laws happy, her daughter's life in her in-laws' house would naturally not be so difficult. Ping, since you're a mother, you have to change your temperament in the future. You have to act like a mother. Your in-laws' house is not as good as your maiden family, so they definitely won't take care of you as well. I can still serve you by your side, but you can't expect your mother-in-law to serve you too. Liang Jinxiao said this as someone who had been through it before. Previously, when she was pregnant, old Zhao's family did not pay much attention to her. She had to do all the chores she had to do when she was pregnant. However, Zhao Ping did not take Liang Jinxiao's word seriously. Zhao Ping curled her lips and said to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, that can't be. I'm pregnant with the family Qin's only grandchild. How can my mother-in-law not serve me well? Liang Jinxiao thought about it and felt that this was true. After all, Zhao Ping was different from her. The family Qin would definitely care about the only child in the family Qin's family. Just like when her eldest sister-in-law was pregnant with old Zhao's first grandchild, the old Zhao's family treated her quite well. The family Qin's people would naturally care more about the child in Zhao Ping's stomach. Liang Jinxiao heaved a sigh of relief and said to Zhao Ping, That's good. Mother doesn't have to worry too much about you. Tell your father about it later. Your father will definitely be very happy to hear about it. Zhao Ping agreed happily. Then, she pulled Liang Jinxiao's hand and said, Mother, your daughter is pregnant. Shouldn't we do something? Liang Jinxiao was stunned. She looked at Zhao Ping in confusion and said, Do something? Pinger, what do you mean? Mother, you see, I'm pregnant and I need to nourish my body. My in-laws don't have anything to nourish my body with. Can you give me some here? Liang Jinxiao finally understood what was going on. If it was like before, she wouldn't have given it away so easily. Now that Zhao Ping was pregnant, she naturally couldn't be so calculative. Liang Jinxiao smiled and said, Okay. Mother will get you some eggs. You can eat them when you go back. They'll nourish your body. Zhao Ping was greedy and felt that Liang Jinxiao had only given her a few eggs. Mother, give me another hen. I'll stew some soup when I get back. I'll eat the eggs slowly later. Liang Jinxiao hesitated for a moment and finally nodded. Okay, Mother will get you a chicken. Hee, Mother, you are so good to me. Liang Jinxiao shook his head helplessly. She was her daughter after all. She was willing to give her anything she wanted as long as she had it. Moreover, Zhao Ping was pregnant. Mother will go out and catch you a chicken now, Liang Jinxiao said as she came out of the room of the third branch and walked in the direction of the chicken coop. Seeing that Liang Jinxiao was catching a chicken, Feng Zhangxia said sarcastically, Third sister-in-law, are you catching a chicken? Your Ping is back and you're so good to her. You're even killing a chicken to entertain her? Liang Jinxiao smiled awkwardly and explained, Pinger's eldest aunt, Pinger, is pregnant. I'm getting a chicken and eggs for her to nourish her body. So that's how it is. Then congratulations, third sister-in-law. Ping is actually pregnant. This is a happy occasion. Zhao Ping followed her out and raised her head in front of Feng Zhangxia. Eldest aunt, I don't need you to tell me that. Chapter 1436. It's no big deal to give birth to a child when you're pregnant. Unless you give birth to a son, you'll have a high status in your in-laws' family. Otherwise, your in-laws won't be happy if you give birth to a daughter. Instead, they'll be angry. After all, no one wants to give birth to a good-for-nothing. It's just like how your mother gave birth to you. Not only did you marry into another family, but you even went back to your parents' home from time to time to get things from them. It's your mother who treats you well. If my daughter was like that, I'd definitely ignore her. Feng Zhangxia's sarcasm made Zhao Ping very angry. Eldest aunt, how do you know that I can't give birth to a son? I'll give birth to one later and anger you to death. All right, then I'd like to see if you'll give birth to a son on your first child. Zhao Ping couldn't be bothered to argue with Feng Zhangxia. It was originally a happy thing, but after Feng Zhangxia's words, she felt even more annoyed. Just you wait, you jinx. Liang Jinxiao helplessly twitched the corner of his mouth and said to Feng Zhangxia, eldest sister-in-law, don't talk about Ping-er anymore. Ping-er's first child doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. She can slowly give birth to a son in the future. She'll have a few more children sooner or later. However, Feng Zhangxia snorted softly. Isn't that so? Third sister-in-law, a son is better. If you give birth to a few more daughters, you'll have more mouths to feed. You'll be raised for free. Sigh, eldest sister-in-law, if you say so. Liang Jinxiao didn't want to argue anymore. At this time, she grabbed a hen and picked the biggest one in the house. It was plump enough. She also went to the kitchen to get 20 eggs. When she was done, she handed them to Zhao Ping-er. Ping-er, mother has prepared them for you. Take them back. Zhao Ping-er happily took them. Mother, thank you. I'll be leaving now. After putting the things in the car, Zhao Ping-er couldn't wait to go back and tell the rest of the family Qin the good news. Liang Jinxiao originally wanted Zhao Ping-er to stay for lunch, but thinking that Zhao Ping would have to tell the family Qin, he didn't ask her to stay. Okay, go back. But Ping-er, since you're pregnant, you have to be careful on the way back. Don't be in a hurry. Don't hurt the baby in your belly. Zhao Ping-er nodded heavily. Mother, I know. Don't worry. She treasured her tummy a lot. So how could she let anything happen to it? To a day, mom's, S's, cunt. To mother's a child, S, a child. To the family, to A's, to a family Qin hadn't been doing much work in the fields for the past few days. They used to work in the fields. They worked tirelessly every day and gave most of the food to the landlords. Now that they had other sources of income, they naturally didn't want to do such tiring work that didn't bring in much food. Their family's fields were the most important. Seeing that Zhao Ping had returned, Mu Chunfang went up to her and said, Ping-er, why did you come back so late today? Zhao Ping smiled. Mother, I was delayed by something today. What's the matter? Did you go out to play and deliberately came back late? Mu Chunfang knew Zhao Ping-er's playful personality, so he didn't believe Zhao Ping-er's words. Chapter 1437. After being reminded by Zhao Ping-er, Mu Chunfang was a little curious and asked, Ping-er lass, what's the matter? Tell me quickly. Since mother will be happy, tell me and let mother be happy. Zhao Ping-er grinned and went in front of Mu Chunfang. She said to Mu Chunfang, Mother, you're going to be a grandmother soon. I'm pregnant. What? Mu Chunfang was instantly stunned. The vegetables in her hand fell out of shock, and she could not react for a moment. Mother, I'm pregnant. I've been feeling unwell these few days. I kept wanting to vomit, so I went to the doctor to have a look. The doctor said that I have a pregnancy pulse. I'm pregnant. Really, Ping-er? You're really pregnant? In that case, our family Qin has a descendant? Ha, this is good news. Mu Chunfang was very excited. For so many years, what she looked forward to the most was having a grandchild. People around her age in the village had already had a grandchild. It was a pity that their family Qin was poor, and her two sons were unable to marry a wife. Now, Zhao Ping-er was pregnant. In that case, their family Qin really had a descendant. How could she not be happy? Mu Chunfang held Zhao Ping-er's hand excitedly and said, Ping-er lass, good job. Your stomach is really capable. You've only been married for such a short time, and you're already pregnant. Other people can't even lay eggs for a few years. Zhao Ping was praised by Mu Chunfang, and she lowered her head shyly. Mother, this isn't all my credit. It's all thanks to Big Brother Yuan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten pregnant so easily. Zhao Ping-er was praising Mu Chunfang's son. Mu Chunfang was naturally happier. That's right. Your is also amazing. Speaking of which, this is all thanks to the two of you. Both of you deserve praise. Hee, that's right. Mother, I also brought back a hen and 20 eggs from my mother's house. My mother said that they are for me to nourish my body. Zhao Ping, pointed at the chicken and eggs in the car. Mu Chunfang smiled and said, Mother will make some for you later. You're pregnant, so you have to eat better to nourish your body. Thank you, Mother. Little girl, what's there to thank me for? You're carrying our family Qin's precious grandson. Naturally, I have to take care of you and serve you well. After hearing Mu Chuanfang's words, Zhao Ping couldn't help but smile. She knew it. Mu Chunfang would definitely treat her this way, unlike what Liang Jinxiao had said, who asked her to be pregnant with the family Qin's only child. As Mu Chunfang spoke, he hurriedly called out to Qin Dashan and Qin Yuan, who were in the house. Yuan-er's father, Yuan-er, hurry up and come out. What's wrong? Qin Dashan poked his head out and asked. Yuan-er's father, good news. Ping is pregnant. You're going to be a grandfather in the future. After hearing Mu Chuanfang's explanation, Qin Dashan was also overjoyed. Really? Ping-er's mother? What's wrong with that? Yuan-er's mother? That's really good news. Of course. Our family Qin has a descendant. Isn't that a good thing? That Ping-er girl has worked hard. She has contributed greatly to our family Qin. Isn't that so? Yuan is also in his 20s. It's time for him to be a father. He's about the same age as him. His children are already old enough. He's considered late. But fortunately, he's pregnant. Our family Qin is satisfied. That's right. Yuan has a child. He's really grown up. Chapter 1438. Zhao Ping originally wanted to hear Qin Yuan praise her, but when she saw Qin Yuan's expression, she could not help but frown. She muttered to Qin Yuan, Brother Yuan, why do you look so unhappy? Only then did Qi Dashan and Mu Chunfang notice Qin Yuan's reaction. Seeing that Qin Yuan's reaction was indeed a little strange, Mu Chunfang asked, Yuan-er, you're going to be a father soon. Why aren't you smiling? Qin Dashan muttered, Yuan-er's mother. I think Yuan-er is so happy that he's silly. That's why he doesn't have any reaction. Mu Chunfang thought about it and felt that it was possible. Once a person was too happy, they would become silly. Hence, he teased Qin Yuan. You child, you're so happy that you're muddle-headed. Hurry and wake up. Say something to your wife. It wasn't easy for her to get pregnant with your child. Qin Yuan frowned and asked, Mother, how did you know that I'm going to be a father? Mu Chunfang was baffled by Qin Yuan's words. If you're not going to be a father, who else is going to be a father? Since Ping is pregnant, then you're going to be a father. Qin Yuan snorted. Mother, you're wrong. Zhao Ping didn't sleep with me alone. Who knows if the child is mine or Big Brother's? Maybe Big Brother is going to be a father. Mu Chunfang and Qin Dashan were instantly stunned. Even Zhao Ping could not help but be stunned. Brother Yuan, this child is definitely his. She slept with Qin Yuan first before sleeping with Qin Chuan. And the number of times she slept with Qin Yuan was far more than the number of times she slept with Qin Chuan. Mu Chunfang and Qin Dashan exchanged glances. They finally understood why Qin Yuan did not look very happy. So, it was because of this. Yuan, this child of yours, no matter if it's yours or your elder brother's, they're all part of our family Qin's bloodline. We should all be happy. Qin Yuan and Qin Chuan were both Mu Chuanfang's sons, so no matter who Zhao Ping was pregnant with, Mu Chunfang was very happy. Qin Dashan continued Mu Chuanfang's words. That's right, Yuan-er. Whether it's yours or your elder brother's, our family Qin should be happy and celebrate. Qin Yuan snorted. That, Mom, you can't say that. My child is my child, and Big Brother's child is Big Brother's child. Yuan-er, why can't you figure it out? So what if it's your elder brother's child? What are you unhappy about? Qin Yuan asked back, Mom, according to what you said, is Zhao Ping my wife or elder brother's wife? This. Mu Chunfang did not know how to respond for a moment. Qin Dashan said, Yuan-er, why are you so conflicted about this? We're from the countryside. Isn't it normal for a few brothers from a poor family to share a wife? Dad, I don't think so. People will definitely laugh at me later. Qin Dashin saw that he could not persuade Qin Yuan, so he did not say anything else. If Qin Yuan was unhappy, so be it. Anyway, it was fine as long as they were happy. Brother Yuan, Zhao Ping, stood in front of Qin Yuan, feeling wronged. She was the one who felt the most upset when Qin Yuan said that. Zhao Ping, who did not want Qin Yuan to say that to her because of the child. Go away. Don't come near me. Qin Yuan entered the house in a fit of pique. Once he thought that his wife might be pregnant with someone else's child, Qin Yuan felt unhappy. Chapter 1439. Zhao Ping, could only agree. She hoped that the truth was as Mu Chunfang said. Otherwise, she wouldn't know what to do. All right, Ping, you should go and rest too. In the future, don't do too much chores at home. Your stomach is the most important. Mother will take care of the rest. Zhao Ping nodded. Got it, Mother. Zhao Ping felt stifled. She pulled out a stool and sat on it, thinking about how to make Qin Yuan happy. At this moment, Qin Chuan walked in front of Zhao Ping. Seeing that Zhao Ping was thinking about something, he moved his face closer to Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping was shocked when she saw Qin Chuan's face. She said angrily to Qin Chuan, "What are you trying to do?" "Nothing. I just saw that you're like a fool. You're not even blinking." Zhao Ping was a little angry. She already had complaints about Qin Chuan. Now, Qin Chuan actually dared to provoke her. How could Zhao Ping let Qin Chuan off after being called a fool by a fool? She didn't have a reason to torture Qin Chuan. She didn't expect Qin Chuan to come knocking on her door. Zhao Ping jumped up from the stool and pushed Qin Chuan. "You fool, who are you scolding? If you have the guts, you can scold me again." Qin Chuan was stunned. Zhao Ping continued to push Qin Chuan. This push caused Qin Chuan to fall to the ground. His buttocks were burning with pain. Sob, sob, sob. "Mother, the ugly monster bullied me." Hearing Qin Chuan's cries, Mu Chunfang immediately rushed out of the kitchen. "What's wrong, Chuan?" "Mother, the ugly monster hit me. You have to avenge me." Mu Chunfang felt a headache coming on. Zhao Ping also felt justified. She complained in front of Mu Chunfang. "Mother, he was the one who scared me first. I'm pregnant with family Qin's child. I can't take the scare. What if the baby is scared to death?" Mu Chunfang felt that what Zhao Ping said made sense, so he quickly reminded Qin Chuan, "Chuan, you have to be careful. Don't hurt Ping. Ping is pregnant now." Seeing that Mu Chunfang was defending Zhao Ping instead of him, Qin Chuan became even angrier. He sat on the ground and began to act shamelessly. "Mother, how can you be so nice to that ugly freak? You don't even care about me anymore." "All right, don't make a fuss in front of Mother. You've made me confused." "Mother, all right. Ping is different from before. You have to be more sensible. Don't hurt her." Qin Chuan pursed his lips, feeling a little unhappy. Mu Chunfang whispered into Qin Chuan's ear, "Child, do you know that Ping might be pregnant with your son?" Qin Chuan didn't understand what Mu Chunfang meant. "So what? I just hate that ugly freak. I still want to bully her tonight." "What?" Qin Chuan tugged at Mu Chunfang's hand and said, "Mother, can I bully her like before tonight?" It had been a while since he did that, and Qin Chuan found himself missing it. Although he didn't know why. Because he was silly, Qin Chuan wasn't afraid to say it out loud. Mu Chunfang's expression changed slightly. "Ah, Chuan, you can't." Qin Chuan looked at Mu Chunfang in confusion. "Mother, why can't I?" Chapter 1440. When a woman was pregnant, especially in the first and second trimesters, she could not move or do that kind of thing. Therefore, even if Qin Chuan wanted to do that with Zhao Ping, he was not allowed to do so. Seeing the sharpness in Mu Chunfang's tone, Qin Chuan knew that Mu Chunfang was serious. He pursed his lips in displeasure and did not continue arguing. Mother, you only know how to protect that ugly monster." As he spoke, Qin Chuan got up from the ground angrily and ran away. Mu Chunfang shook his head helplessly. At the same time, he turned around and instructed Zhao Ping, after you're pregnant, remember not to do that with Yuan at night. Otherwise, The child will be easily miscarried. After reminding Zhao Ping, Mu Chunfeng went back to the kitchen to make lunch. Zhao Ping was stunned. Can't do that again? In other words, she couldn't let Qin Yuan do anything to her. She was pregnant for 10 months. How could she endure it for 10 months? It was simply torturous. At the thought of this, Zhao Ping touched her stomach. Suddenly, she didn't want to get pregnant so soon. After Zhao Yun had dinner, Zhao Wenhua came to look for her. Now that the house was almost completed, there were some things that could be bought now. Zhao Wenhua came over this time to discuss the purchase of furniture. Now that the house was built, people could move in. It was unlike the 21st century where the house had to be left to dry for a few months or even half a year after renovation. In ancient times, there was no need to renovate. There were no cancer-causing materials, so there was no need to worry. After buying the furniture, such as the bed, table, and so on, people could move in. After hearing Zhao Wenhua's instructions, Zhao Yun nodded in agreement. Now that Zhao Wenhua was busy building the house, she naturally had to buy the furniture herself. Fortunately, there were many such shops in Yang City. As long as one was a carpenter, they would basically know how to make furniture. She would just have to ask around later. Zhao Yun felt much better at the thought of being able to live in a new house soon. After moving into the new house, Zhao Tianan's marriage could also be arranged. Mulan's house was small. Zhu Eru found 2 masons, so the construction of the house was about the same as Zhao Yun's house. It was almost finished. Since they both needed to buy furniture, it was better to go with Mulan. The price would be easier to negotiate. Sister-in-law Mulan, you have to buy some beds, cabinets, chairs, and tables. Let's go to Yang City tomorrow and book them. These things have to be customized in advance. You might not be able to buy them now. Mulan happened to be thinking about this matter these 2 days. Hearing Zhao Yun mention it again, she nodded and agreed. Okay, let's go there tomorrow morning. In. All right, bring Muhin along too. Mulan looked at Zhao Yun in confusion and asked, why are you bringing her along? That child doesn't know anything. Zhao Yun smiled and explained, I'm not asking her to accompany us. I want to bring her to Yang City to buy some jewelry. Mulan was even more confused. Yun, why are you buying jewelry for her? Seeing Mulan's confused expression, Zhao Yun said, Sister-in-law Mulan, when the house is built, we can propose marriage. We have to give a betrothal gift to propose marriage, right? The jewelry we give Muhin has to like it. I can't just pick it casually in case it doesn't suit her. Chapter 1441. In ancient times, when people got married, the groom would send betrothal gifts. However, only wealthy families would send some gold, silver, and jewelry. Just like when Zhao Xinhui got married, young Master Meng sent a pile of jewelry. Poor families usually didn't send jewelry. It was already very impressive if they could send a silver hairpin or a silver bracelet. After all, they were just country bumpkins. Therefore, Mulan felt that it was impossible to expect Zhao Yun's family to give a lot of betrothal gifts or buy many things for Muhin. Therefore, she rejected Zhao Yun and said, Yun, there's no need. Your family isn't very rich now. We're all living together and living a normal life. We're from the countryside, so there's no need to be so courteous. Besides, with our relationship, there's no need to be so courteous. It's Muhin's good fortune to be able to marry into your family. She definitely won't ask for too many things from your family. Zhao Yun knew that Mulan was being courteous to her, so she said, Sister-in-law Mulan, this is our family sincerity. Just accept it. We're buying these things for Muhin, not for you. Mulan glared at Zhao Yun. Yun, seriously? Even if you have some money, shouldn't you keep it properly? Why do you have to spend it? It's not easy for anyone to earn money these days. So, you should save your money properly. Don't spend it. Sister-in-law Mulan, when did you become so pretentious? If you continue to be so courteous with me, I won't talk to you anymore. Money can be earned slowly after it's spent. Business will only get bigger and bigger. What's the use of keeping money? Muhin is such a good girl who married into our family. We should express our gratitude properly. Mulan felt helpless. She realized that she couldn't win against Zhao Yun at all. Therefore, she could only say, okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Then bring Mu Hin to town tomorrow to buy things. Is that okay? Zhao Yin'er, who was originally stern, finally smiled. That's right. By the way, Yin'er, do you know something? Seeing Mulan acting so mysteriously, Zhao Yin'er couldn't help saying, Sister-in-law Mulan, if you have something to say, just say it directly. What's the big deal? Did something happen in the village? Mulan thought. She thought. Zhao Yin'er said, Yin'er, do you know that Xiao Hong and Lu Lei will be married to Lu Lei? Lu Lei will be married into the Xiao family's family. Hearing this, Zhao Yun'er was stunned. Lu Yun Mu Yun Zes, it didn't look like there was a mistake. However, Zhao Yun'er felt that Lu Lei wouldn't marry Xiao Hong so easily. Was it because he felt that he was getting old and needed to get married, so he just casually picked a girl? Or did he really like Xiao Hong and want to be with her? In any case, it shouldn't be that simple. Mulan thought that Zhao Yun'er was unhappy. After all, Zhao Yun'er and Lu Lei got along quite well in the past, so they more or less had some feelings for each other. Now that she heard that Lu Lei and Xiao Hong were getting married, she had such a reaction. Mulan comforted her. Yun'er, you got along well with Lu Lei back then. He treated you well. But Master Shitzi is even better. You didn't get together with Lu Lei, but you met such a good man like Master Shitzi. Master Shitzi is also Daoda's father. It's good that your family is together. Chapter 1442. Zhao Yun'er chuckled. She guessed that Mulan was right. Sister-in-law Mulan, you're right. It's a good thing that he's getting married. After all, it's not good to be alone. If he's with Xiao Hong can at least take care of him. Yes, that's the case. Xiao Hong wasn't the best person, but Zhao Yun'er knew that Xiao Hong would definitely treat Lu Lei well. Because she loved Lu Lei, she would take good care of him. Of course, the most important thing was that once Lu Lei got married, he would stop thinking about her and wouldn't miss her anymore. Thinking about that, Zhao Yun'er only wished him well. Sister-in-law Mulan, since they're getting married, we have to send them some money. Call me when you're sending the money. I'll go too. Mulan smiled and said, Okay, I got it. Don't worry, I'll call you. Okay. The next morning, the few of them rushed to Sun City. Sun City was as lively as ever. Zhao Yun'er and Mulan looked for a few carpentry shops together. After shopping around, they finally chose an old carpentry shop. The carpenters in this shop were older and had decades of experience, so their skills were pretty good. It was just that this shop was a little out of the way and also a little rundown. There weren't many people here. In addition, the carpenters were old, so their speed was a little slow. The customers saw that their efficiency wasn't high. There were many carpenters in Sun City, so naturally, there weren't many customers here. Zhao Yun'er saw that it would take some time for her house to be finished. The carpenters would be able to finish it in a few days, so Zhao Yun'er decided on it. She liked doing business with honest people. Zhao Yun'er could tell that this old carpenter was pretty good. That was why she chose him. Mulan also made a reservation at this shop. When the old carpenter saw that they had ordered so many goods at once, he gave them a discount again. After all the preparations were done, Zhao Yun'er brought Mu Hin to a jewelry shop. This jewelry store was neither big nor small. Most large jewelry stores catered to the rich. Most of them sold expensive jewelry. With Zhao Yun'er's wealth, she probably couldn't afford it. Middle-class shops would sell jewelry aimed at ordinary people. Wealthy families in the countryside and towns often came here to buy jewelry. The jewelry was placed on the table for the guests to choose from. There were all kinds of hairpins, bracelets, necklaces, and head ornaments. These ancient jewelry were all handmade, but the level of exquisiteness was no less than the jewelry of the 21st century. On the contrary, it had more charm than the jewelry made by machines in the 21st century. After Zhao Yun'er saw it, she couldn't help but want to buy a few. Mu Hin looked around. After seeing such exquisite jewelry, he was a little embarrassed to choose. Mu Hin, what's wrong? Why aren't you choosing? Do you not like any of these accessories? If you don't like them, why don't we go to another shop to choose? Mu Hin shook his head. No, Sister Yun'er, it's not that I don't like them. I just feel that these things are too expensive. I can't accept them, Mulan felt that any random item would cost a few taels of silver. In the countryside, who would be willing to spend so much money? Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but laugh. This child, since I'm letting you choose, I'm sincerely buying it for you. You're saving money for me. Don't worry, it's fine. Just choose. You don't have to worry about this little bit of money. Although Zhao Yun'er said this, Mu Hin felt apologetic. Chapter 1443. She felt that it was a great blessing for her to be able to marry Zhao Tianan. Zhao Yun'er was so good to her that she was afraid that she would be taking advantage of her. Sister Yin, I know that you're good to me, but these accessories are really too expensive. I will be living with Tianan in the future. If I spend money on these things, people in the countryside will definitely gossip. Actually, these worldly possessions are really nothing. I am happy as long as Tianan is around. Looking at such an honest girl, Zhao Yun'er could not help but laugh. Mu Hin, it is Tianan's blessing to have married such a good wife like you. However, these accessories are not from Tianan. As his elder sister, they are completely from my heart. Why? Do you have the heart to not let me be happy? Sister Yun'er, Zhao Yun tugged at Mu Hin's hand and said to Mu Hin, All right, Mu Hin, don't hesitate anymore. Just accept it. It is not good to be so hesitant. Mu Hin could not refuse and could only nod. All right then, Sister Yun'er, I won't stand on ceremony with you. I will accept it. Okay. Seeing that Mu Hin did not refuse, Zhao Yun'er's smile deepened. Mu Hin looked at the accessories and skipped over the ones that looked expensive. She only considered those that looked more plain and did not seem to cost much. She chose the best ones and chose a plain silver hairpin, a silver bracelet, and a pearl necklace. Although it was considered cheap in comparison, these pieces of jewelry were indeed good things for the people in the countryside. If she wore them, she would be envied to death. If a woman in the countryside had a silver bracelet, it would be enough to show off. Sister Yin, these are enough. Mu Hin said to Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun looked at the few items that Mu Hin had chosen and knew that Mu Hin had chosen cheap items on purpose to save money for her. She could not help but feel a little touched. This child was indeed too honest. If this was an ordinary girl, she would be eager to buy the best and most expensive items. However, it was precisely because of this that Zhao Yun'er liked Mu Hin more. At least this girl was kind and pure. She was the most suitable person to live with. Her younger brother was also very pure and honest. If he were to be with a girl like Ma Xiaofeng, he would inevitably be bullied. In the future, Mu Hin would be able to live a down-to-earth with Zhao Tianan. Are you still trying to save money? These items won't do. Zhao Yun'er did not let Mu Hin choose by herself. She would definitely choose cheap items. Therefore, she chose a pair of gold earrings and a glass hairpin. The design was very unique and beautiful, especially the glass hairpin, which shone beautifully. Zhao Yun'er fell in love with it at first sight. Sister Yun'er, how much did this cost? Isn't it too expensive? Mu Hin was a little embarrassed to accept it. It's okay. Let's go and pay the bill. Zhao Yun'er held Mu Hin's hand and said. Mu Hin blushed slightly. She was very touched. Ever since she left the Mu family, her life had been much better. Whether it was Mulan or Zhao Yun'er, they were very good to her. If she were in the Mu family, she would not have such a good life. Only when she came here did she understand what it meant to be cared for. To be able to be relatives with someone like Zhao Yun'er in the future, it was really a blessing that she had cultivated in her previous life. Chapter 1444. She was also very touched and gratified that her younger sister could be treated like this by Zhao Yun'er. The few of them came to the counter and calculated the bill. These things added up to 8 taels of silver. In the countryside, that was 2 acres of farmland. If it was an ordinary family, how could they bear to part with it? The boss wrapped it up for Zhao Yun'er with a smile. In his shop, buying 8 taels of silver in one go was still a small amount. He was more polite to Zhao Yun'er. Miss, take care, the boss said with a smile. Okay. The 3 of them were just about to leave when they saw 2 people walking towards them. These 2 people were not just anyone, but Xiao Hong and Lu Lei. Zhao Yun'er realized that some things were quite strange. When a person was not mentioned or thought of, there was basically no interaction. Usually, she would not bump into them in the village. Yesterday, Mulan had just mentioned Lu Lei and Xiao Hong, and today, she saw Lu Lei and Xiao Hong. When Xiao Hong saw that she had bumped into Zhao Yun, she was also slightly stunned. Then, she said, "Sister Yun'er is also here to buy jewelry." The smile on Xiao Hong's face was so fake. Zhao Yun could not be bothered with her. However, she had no reason to ignore her when she was talking to her. Moreover, Lu Lei was beside her. If she really ignored her, it would probably be exactly what Xiao Hong wanted. This way, Xiao Hong could complain about her in front of Lu Lei. "Yes, Sister Xiao Hong, are you here to buy jewelry as well?" Zhao Yun also pulled out a fake smile. "Yes, I'm getting married to Brother Lu in a while, so my mother asked me to come over and buy some dowry." Xiao Hong purposely emphasized her marriage to Lu Lei, as if she was afraid that Zhao Yun'er did not know. Zhao Yun'er's lips curled up slightly as she said with a lonely smile, "Then I really have to congratulate you. Sister Yun, thank you for your blessings. It's not easy for Brother Lu and I to be together." Xiao Hong's smile seemed to hide knife. If it wasn't for Zhao Yun'er, she would have been together with Lu Lei long ago. However, it wasn't too late to be with Lu Lei now. It was better than not being with Lu Lei. It's Big Brother Lu's fortune to be able to marry a woman like little sister Xiao Hong. It's my fortune to be able to marry Big Brother Lu. I'll definitely take good care of Big Brother Lu in the future. Xiao Hong looked at Lu Lei affectionately. However, Lu Lei, who treated her quite well, became a little different the moment he saw Zhao Yun'er. When Xiao Hong saw Lu Lei looking at Zhao Yun'er, she felt a little jealous. In the end, Lu Lei still couldn't let go of Zhao Yun'er. Xiao Hong knew very well that if she hadn't used a special method, Lu Lei probably wouldn't have agreed to marry her. This method was a little extreme, but Lu Lei had no way to avoid responsibility. Because she drugged Lu Lei, she had sex with him. She was a virgin, and now that a man had slept with her, the man had to take responsibility. Lu Lei wasn't the kind of man who would throw her away and take the initiative to marry her. She put in a lot of effort to plan this, and finally managed to keep the man she loved by her side. Xiao Hong believed that as long as Lu Lei married her and spent time with her every day, he would more or less develop feelings for her and forget about Zhao Yun. After all, it was normal for feelings to grow over time. What was done couldn't be undone. Lu Lei no longer had that thought in his heart, and he would also slowly forget about Zhao Yun. Chapter 1445. Xiao Hong wanted to see Zhao Yun'er be angry or envious, but Zhao Yun'er was completely unmoved, as if she didn't care at all. She felt a little unhappy. "Yes, no matter how lucky I am, I can't compare to Sister Yun'er. Sister Yun'er is going to marry the current heir apparent. How noble is her status?" Xiao Hong said this on purpose to make Lu Lei misunderstand. The reason why Zhao Yun didn't have much of a reaction was that Zhao Yun'er already had Mu Lianfeng, so she naturally didn't care much about Lu Lei. Lu Lei's expression darkened when he heard Xiao Hong's words. Zhao Yun was really speechless toward Xiao Hong. She wouldn't fight with her for Lu Lei, so why did Xiao Hong keep harping on her? It was as if she couldn't wait to see her upset. Lu Lei tugged at Xiao Hong, indicating for her to stop talking. Xiao Hong pursed her lips and snorted softly, but she didn't say anything else. Zhao Yun'er still had a smile on her face as she bid farewell to Xiao Hong and Lu Lei. "Little sister Xiao Hong, go and choose your jewelry. I've already chosen, so I won't accompany you." With that, Zhao Yun tugged at Mu Hin and Mulan. Looking at Zhao Yun'er's departing figure, Xiao Hong was furious. This B***TCH was doing this on purpose. Luckily, she had gotten Lu Lei. After Zhao Yun, Mulan, and Mu Hin walked out of the shop, Mulan couldn't help but say that Xiao Hong is too inhumane. What did she mean by those words? Zhao Yun'er curled her lips and said with a smile, "Who cares what she means? Just ignore her. Look at how proud she is. Yun'er, if you were willing to accept Lu Lei, she wouldn't have a chance to jump around. Forget it. Sister-in-law Mulan, you don't have to say anything. It's their business what they want to say. We can't control them. Zhao Yun was open-minded and didn't care. Mulan couldn't stand Xiao Hong's attitude. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er didn't care, she naturally couldn't say anything more. On the other hand, Xiao Hong treated someone whom Zhao Yun didn't care about like a treasure. Xiao Hong felt embarrassed. Yes, it's none of our business. Let her say what she wants. Mulan responded. After finishing their work, they prepared to go to the market to buy some groceries. Just as he arrived at the market and bought a few ingredients, he suddenly saw a bunch of people gathered together in the market. He had no idea what was going on. Zhao Yun'er also curiously looked in the direction of the crowd. What happened? It seems like a pregnant woman suddenly had a stomachache. Really? There's no midwife now. Isn't that so? There's no midwife. This is troublesome. She can't be giving birth on the streets, right? Who knows? The situation looks serious. Yeah, the situation looks serious. If we don't deal with it properly, she might not be able to keep her life. It won't be good if 2 lives are lost. There's no choice. It's a sin. Hearing these people's words, Zhao Yun'er raised her eyebrows slightly. Something so serious had happened. As a police officer, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but want to meddle in other people's business. After all, it was a matter of life and death. She couldn't just ignore it. Last time, there was also a pregnant woman who had a problem. She reached out to help, and the woman survived. As long as she could help, there was no harm in helping. Just as Zhao Yun'er was about to make a move, she suddenly heard a familiar voice. Chapter 1446. Io, my precious daughter, please don't let anything happen to you. Zhaodi, please don't scare me. Wake up. Zhaodi Wu Zhaodi, someone come and save our Zhaodi. Zhao Yun frowned when she heard Liang Jinfen screams. So the woman with the stomachache was actually his cousin, Su Zhaodi. Although she didn't like her second aunt's family, Zhao Yun couldn't help but move closer to see what was going on. Could it really be as serious as the onlookers said? If that was the case, would her cousin be able to take it? The ancient times weren't like the modern times. If anything happened to her, it wouldn't be good. However, Zhao Yun had to observe first. If she didn't need to do anything, she wouldn't do anything. After all, she had offended her and said those words to her. She couldn't possibly be too concerned about her. Io, this is bad. Look, that woman's bleeding down there. Yeah. Oh my God. Is she going to have a miscarriage? I think she's really going to have a miscarriage. She's bleeding. How could she keep the child? What should we do? What a sin. Hearing these people say that Jianhong was going to have a miscarriage, Liang Jinfen was so frightened that he started crying. Io, my Zhaodi, you can't have a miscarriage. You're pregnant with my precious grandson. At the same time, Liang Jinfen thought that if Su Zhaodi was pregnant with a son, her status in the Huang family would be different. No matter what, Su Zhaodi's child couldn't be lost. Everyone, help me, help me. My Zhaodi's child has to be saved. Nothing can happen to it. Can anyone help me find a doctor or a midwife? Whoa, Zhao Yun couldn't help but shake her head when she heard Liang Jinfen's cries. Her second aunt was usually so arrogant, but it turned out that there were times when she was so anxious. However, no one stepped forward to help. Sister-in-law, it's not that we don't want to help you, but we can't. Your daughter is bleeding down there. It's obvious that the child can't be saved. Even if the doctor comes, it's probably useless. That's right. Even if the doctor comes, it won't help. A woman's body cannot be seen by a man, not even by a doctor. Sister-in-law, if you want to take a look, you should ask the midwife. It's impossible to find a midwife in such a short time. It's better to wait slowly. Sigh, there's nothing we can do. Sister-in-law, don't cry. Hurry up and go home to call for help. Get someone to bring your daughter back. It's not good for her to lie on the ground. Liang Jinfen's cries became louder after hearing what everyone said. Where was she going to find a midwife? She couldn't get away now, nor could she call someone over. If this dragged on, she reckoned that her little brother wouldn't be able to hold on. Liang Jinfen was so anxious that he wanted to cry. Recruit brother, recruit brother. Bear with it for a while longer. Mother will help you think of a way. Liang Jinfen said with a sobbing tone. Su Zhaodi, who was on the ground, turned pale. She shouted weakly and fearfully at Liang Jinfen. Mother, mother, what should I do? I'm so scared. She was afraid that she would lose the child. Everyone said that the child in her stomach was a boy. Chapter 1447. Liang Jinfen tugged at Su Zhaodi and said, Don't be afraid. I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you. Liang Jinfen's comforting words had no effect on Su Zhaodi. Mom, I'm in pain. You have to save my child. Su Zhaodi clutched her stomach and looked at the blood flowing out between her legs. She was terrified. Besides the pain, she was even more terrified. This was her first child. She had heard that after a first miscarriage, it was easy for her to have another miscarriage. It might not be so easy for her to have children in the future. If she couldn't have children, how was she going to live in her in-laws' house in the future? When Zhao Yuner heard these people's discussion, she couldn't help but frown. She had a miscarriage? The situation was really serious. And these people were obviously talking nonsense if they didn't call for a doctor. A miscarriage could easily cost her life. Of course, these people were here to watch the show. Naturally, they would make sarcastic remarks. After squeezing through the crowd, Zhao Yun saw Su Zhaodi on the ground. She couldn't bear to see her and felt sympathy for her. The people around them were just watching the show. Not many people came forward to help. If this continued, who knew what would happen? Zhao Yun went forward and asked, Second aunt, how is cousin? Liang Jinfen felt comforted when she saw Zhao Yuner. She hurriedly said to Zhao Yuner, Yuner, you're here. There's finally someone here. I was so scared. Can you help me call someone for Zhaodi's in-laws' house? If she called the Huang family over, they would at least be more tolerant. Zhao Yun frowned and didn't agree to Liang Jinfen's request. In this situation, it was obvious that there was no point in calling the Huang family over. So what if the Huang family came? They weren't doctors and didn't know how to deliver a child. Looking at Su Zhaodi's stomach, Zhao Yun didn't think that it was a miscarriage. After all, Su Zhaodi's stomach was already 7 to 9 months old. Although it was not the right time to give birth, it was normal to have a child in such an unexpected situation. If this matter was handled properly, not only would the adults be safe, but the children would also be safe. Of course, this had to be dealt with rationally. Lying here and doing nothing was completely useless. Second aunt, it's better to send her to the clinic and find a doctor. Cousin is premature, Zhao Yuner said. Actually, she didn't want to bother with or help her second aunt. After all, it was a human life. She could even help an outsider. Putting aside her personal grudges, there was no need to be calculative. What? Send him to the clinic? No. Yuner, the doctor doesn't know how to treat this. My Zhaodi won't be able to treat it. Zhao Yuner was speechless. If anything happened to Su Zhaodi, it would be Liang Jinfen's fault. It was scary to be uncultured. Zhao Yun didn't know what to say to Liang Jinfen. Second aunt, the doctor can't do it, and no one can. Can you find a midwife? This, Liang Jinfen choked and didn't know what to say. Don't waste time talking nonsense. When the time comes, it will be too late to regret it. As Zhao Yun spoke, she called for Mu Lan and Mu Hin to help Su Zhaodi and send her to the clinic. Liang Jinfen was also confused at this moment. Since Zhao Yun said so, she could only do so. It was better than being anxious like a headless fly. Chapter 1448. There were many people in the clinic. Su Zhaodi was a special case, so the doctors treated her seriously and allowed her to skip the queue. Hurry up and go inside. Go inside? What's going on? The doctors frowned when they saw the situation. Liang Jinfen knelt down in front of the doctor and pleaded, Doctor, I beg you to save my daughter. Please don't let anything happen to her. The doctor tugged at Liang Jinfen. All right, get up. Don't kneel. Kneeling won't help much. I'll go take a look. Don't delay my work. Liang Jinfen could only nod and wait anxiously outside. He kept rubbing his hands, afraid that something would happen to Su Zhaodi. Apart from his genuine concern for his daughter, Liang Jinfen was also worried that if something happened to Su Zhaodi, he he would not be able to lead a good life in the future. After all, he could only rely on his daughter now. How could he rely on Su Xiaodi when he was old? She did not have a son. Fortunately, her daughter had married into a wealthy family. If her daughter was gone, who would she rely on in the future? Zhao Yun also left the clinic and handed Su Xiaodi over to the doctor. She was not a doctor after all. There was nothing she could do. She had already done her duty by sending Su Xiaodi here. Seeing that Zhao Yun and Mulan had left, Liang Jinfen tugged at Zhao Yun and nagged, "Hey Yun, is my Xiaodi okay? Will there be any problems?" Zhao Yun did not know how to answer Liang Jinfen. She pursed her lips and replied, "Second aunt, I don't know if there will be any problems. Just wait. The doctor said that there will be no problems." Liang Jinfen was a little unhappy. He frowned and said, "Yinner, how can you say that? You sent my Xiaodi here, so you have to take responsibility. You don't even know if the doctor is good or not. If you want to make sure that my Xiaodi is fine, then why did you send him here?" Hearing Liang Jinfen's words, Zhao Yun also got angry. What kind of person was this? She had helped him out of kindness, but he had stuck to her. She reckoned that it was rare to see a scoundrel like Liang Jinfen. "Second aunt, you're really interesting. Now you're blaming me? Fine, let's send him back. However, I'll say the ugly words first. If anything happens to my cousin, don't look for me. Don't regret it." Zhao Yun said coldly. Liang Jinfen was intimidated by Zhao Yun's imposing manner. She knew very well that if she continued to lie on the ground, she would only be waiting for death. Here, at least she had a chance. It was better to wait and see if Su Xiaodi was all right. If something really happened, she could just look for Zhao Yun. The two of them waited outside. From time to time, the woman's painful cries could be heard from inside. It was Su Xiaodi's cries. Liang Jinfen anxiously poked his head in, but he was stopped from entering. There was nothing he could do. Liang Jinfen couldn't sit still and walked around the room. As she walked, she clasped her hands together and muttered, "God bless us! God bless us! Please don't let anything happen to my Xiaodi. Xiaodi, you have to hold on. Mother can't be without you. Xiaodi, Xiaodi. Sai, mother is so anxious." Zhao Yun was annoyed by Liang Jinfen's nagging. When would this second aunt of hers stop? Chapter 1449. Zhao Yun lifted her head and glanced at Liang Jinfen. Although she could understand Liang Jinfen's anxiety, Liang Jinfen didn't have to be like this. "Second aunt, the doctors are all here. If something really happened, there's nothing we can do about it." Liang Jinfen's expression changed when he heard Zhao Yun's words. He scolded Zhao Yun. "Yun, why are you so heartless? Xiaodi is your cousin. How can you be like this?" Zhao Yun was also unhappy with Liang Jinfen's words. "Second aunt, I'm heartless? If I was heartless, I wouldn't have sent my cousin to the clinic. I wouldn't have bothered with you. I wouldn't have had to go through all this trouble. It's a thankless task, but it's not good if something happened to my Xiaodi. Can't you talk to me and make me feel better?" Zhao Yun didn't know what to say to Liang Jinfen. Seeing that Zhao Yun was ignoring him, Liang Jinfen continued to wander around the room. He kept mumbling to himself, but no one knew what he was saying. Zhao Yun also heard the miserable screams in the room. She couldn't help but frown. She was a little worried that something had happened to her cousin. After all, if there was blood, it meant that it was serious. It was uncertain whether the doctors could treat it well. After all, the medical technology in the ancient times was not as good as the modern ones. It was normal for a woman to die during childbirth in the 21st century. Whether or not Su Xiaodi was all right would depend on her own luck. If she made it through, she would be fine. If she didn't, she might even lose her life. Zhao Yun didn't know how long it would take for her to recover. She still had to go back. Just as Zhao Yun was getting impatient, a baby's voice came from the room. "Wow, wow, 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 wow." Liang Jinfen immediately became excited. He pulled Zhao Yun and said, "Yun, did you hear the child voice? Did my family recruit a younger brother? Did I hear wrongly? Are you hallucinating?" Zhao Yun nodded. "Second aunt, you didn't hear wrong. It is indeed the sound of a child crying. It should be cousin Xiaodi who gave birth. Since the child had been born, it meant that she was fine. Sure enough, after a while, the doctor came out with a child in his arms. He handed the child to Liang Jinfin and said, "Don't worry, your daughter is safe, and so is the child. However, your daughter has lost a lot of blood this time, so her body needs to be properly nursed back to health. Otherwise, if the blood in her body can't be replenished in the future, her physique will become very weak. Also, this child's constitution is very poor. After all, he was born prematurely. We have to take care of him properly." "Yes, yes, I know. Thank you, doctor." Liang Jinfin looked at the doctor gratefully. Her daughter could be saved, and so could the child. It seemed that the heavens had heard her prayers. "You're welcome. This is what a doctor should do." Fortunately, they were sent here in time. If they were a little later, the mother and child's lives would have been lost. The doctor said. Liang Jinfin looked at Zhao Yun. He thought about how his recruit was saved, and it was all thanks to Zhao Yun. Otherwise, something would have happened. Chapter 1450. The baby was crying so loudly that Liang Jinfin took notice of the child in her arms. She looked down at the newborn baby. It was a little wrinkled, but she could still tell that the baby had taken after its father. It was a little ugly. Liang Jinfin glanced at him and sighed slightly. It was a pity that this child didn't inherit her family's younger brother's mold when he grew up like this. Suddenly, Liang Jinfin seemed to have thought of something important. She held the doctor's hand and asked with concern, "Doctor, did my brother give birth to a boy or a girl?" The doctor replied faintly, "Isn't the child in your hands? Why don't you take a look for yourself?" "Yes, yes, yes. I'll take a look for myself. Look at my brain, it's really not enough. I get confused when I'm anxious." Liang Jinfin muttered as she tugged at the clothes wrapped around the baby. Liang Jinfin was stunned when she saw that the person wrapped in the clothes was a boy who had the characteristics of a girl. How could it be a girl? When Zhaodi was pregnant, her belly was so big and obviously had the characteristics of a boy. How could it be a girl? She was so anxious to keep the baby because she felt that Su Zhaodi was most likely pregnant with a boy. If she could really give birth to a boy, he would be the Huang family's only golden grandson. Her status in the Huang family would also be elevated. Now, she had given birth to a girl. She didn't know how the Huang family would react when they found out. The more she thought about it, the more anxious Liang Jinfin became. Her brows were tightly knitted together, and she was extremely worried. She looked at the baby in her arms and didn't want to hug it anymore. She had given birth to a good-for-nothing. She might as well not have given birth at all. Wah, wah, wah. The baby continued to cry. Liang Jinfin was so angry that she scolded the baby. "Cry, cry, cry, what are you crying for? You good for nothing. Why is Zhaodi so unlucky? Not only is she not a boy, she almost lost her life when she gave birth to you." In Liang Jinfin's eyes, this newborn baby was a jinx. Because of Liang Jinfin's roar, the child was frightened. The baby's cries became even louder, making people's hearts ache. Of course, in the eyes of outsiders, this would make their hearts ache. Liang Jinfin didn't think so. After hearing the cries, Liang Jinfin felt annoyed and slapped the baby a few times. "Cry, cry, cry. You little jinx, you still have the face to cry? If you cry again, I'll ask your mother to throw you away. Let's see if you still dare." Wah, wah, wah. Liang Jinfin's warning had no effect on the child. The more Liang Jinfin watched, the angrier she got. Just as she was about to explode, Zhao Yun'er could not stand it anymore. She said to Liang Jinfin, "Second aunt, it's just a child. You don't have to be like this, right? How can a child withstand the torture? If you continue to hit her like this, the child will probably be beaten to death." Zhao Yun'er spoke up for Liang Jinfin. She couldn't stand Liang Jinfin's attitude at all. She naturally knew why Liang Jinfin was like this. It was because this child was a girl. In Liang Jinfin's opinion, if a girl was born unloved by her in-laws, her previous plan would fall through. Chapter 1451. However, Liang Jinfin felt that Zhao Yun should not interfere in this matter. "This is my granddaughter. My younger brother gave birth to her. What does it have to do with you? You can hit and scold me if you want. Who can control me? Oomph." The corners of Zhao Yun's mouth twitched. Her heart ached for the child in Liang Jinfin's womb for a second. It was too pitiful for the child to be born into such a family. Of course, this was just the beginning. She did not know how the child would be treated in the future. After all, this was a life that she had saved. Zhao Yun still hoped that this child would be safe and that she would not have to experience any setbacks. Of course, it would be difficult for this child to be happy. Haha, second aunt. It's fine if you want to scold and hit her. However, I have to remind you that a newborn child will not be able to withstand the torment. If you accidentally kill her, you will have killed a human life. Murder is a serious crime. Even if you kill a child, the authorities will pursue the matter. Liang Jinfin's expression darkened. She looked up at Zhao Yun. She was frightened by Zhao Yun's words. However, she continued to be stubborn. Yun, who are you trying to scare? Don't think that you can scare me. It's just a child's death these days. Why would the authorities care about such matters? Zhao Yun chuckled. If you don't want to care, then so be it. However, second aunt, you can't go overboard. Heaven is watching what you do. After all, this is a fresh life. Moreover, she is my biological daughter. She is your biological granddaughter. Liang Jinfin looked at the child in her arms again. After thinking about it, her heart softened. Zhao Yun was right. This was her biological granddaughter. She could not kill this child. When Mulan saw the child crying pitifully, she couldn't help but go forward and say to Liang Jinfin, I think this child is crying because she's hungry. You have to feed her some milk. Scolding her like this is useless. What can a newborn baby know? After all, she had children too. Moreover, she had a daughter for her first 2 children. It was true that the elders did not like their daughters, but a piece of flesh that fell from their own body would be treasured no matter what. Looking at the baby, Mulan's maternal instincts overflowed. Naturally, she felt even more pity for the child in Liang Jinfin's arms. Hungry, Liang Jinfin glanced at the baby and frowned. After thinking about it, she decided to follow Mulan's instructions and feed the baby some milk. The baby was born prematurely, and Su Zhaodi was bleeding profusely. She didn't know if there was any milk left. Without milk, even if she wanted to breastfeed the child, it would probably be impossible. Liang Jinfin carried the baby into the house. Su Zhaodi was lying on the wooden bed. Her body was extremely weak. Because she had lost a lot of blood, Su Zhaodi's face was unusually pale. Her lips were completely pale. When Liang Jinfin saw this, she panicked. She quickly ran to Su Zhaodi and said to her, Ayo, Zhaodi, you've suffered a lot. Please don't let anything happen to you. Mother's heart aches to see you like this. Su Zhaodi lifted her head to look at Liang Jinfin. She was so weak that she could not muster any strength. She held her breath and said to Liang Jinfin, Mother, did I give birth to a boy or a girl? When she said this, Liang Jinfin fell silent. When she saw that Liang Jinfin's expression was not right, Su Zhaodi's heart sank. Then, she started to cry. Chapter 1452. Su Zhaodi wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and cried, Mother, what should I do? If I give birth to a girl, I won't be able to raise my status in my in-laws' family. They might even look down on me. The more Su Zhaodi thought about it, the sadder she felt. Her tears were like a waterfall that could not be stopped. Liang Jinfin saw that Su Zhaodi was crying and hurriedly comforted her. All right, Zhaodi, don't cry. You're still young. You can get pregnant again in the future. If you work hard, you'll definitely have a boy. Although Su Zhaodi knew that she could have another child in the future, she was not sure if she would be able to give birth to a boy. If she gave birth to a girl in the future, she would not be able to raise her head in her in-laws' family. This time, everyone had said that she was pregnant with a boy. She did not expect that she would give birth to a girl. Mother, I'm afraid sob. If my in-laws knew that I gave birth to a girl, I don't know what they would say. My husband used to nag me every day that I must give birth to a boy so that I can fight for more in the future when we divide the family property. If I don't give birth to a boy, my husband probably won't like me anymore. Zhaodi, there's nothing you can do. Men are all like that. If you work hard in the next child and give birth to a fat boy, Wouldn't that be fine? Liang Jinfen nagged. Sob, sob, sob. Mother, you don't understand. It's not that good. Su Xiaodi continued to cry. Looking at Su Xiaodi lying on the bed, Zhao Yuner suddenly felt that this woman was a little pitiful. What was going on? Didn't she just give birth to a girl? Did she have to cry so sadly as if her mother had died? She was degrading herself and still expected men to respect her. After Su Xiaodi cried for a while, Liang Jinfen said, Xiaodi, this child must be hungry. Hurry and feed her milk. Su Xiaodi looked at the girl in Liang Jinfen's arms, and a trace of disdain appeared in her eyes. It was fine that it was a girl, but she was so ugly that it hurt her eyes. Thus, she said to Liang Jinfen, Mother, hurry and take her away. I don't want to see her. Su Xiaodi blamed the suffering she was about to endure on this little girl. Brother Zhao, this won't do. She keeps crying and making a fuss. It's so annoying if you don't give her milk. Su Xiaodi glanced at the baby again. Although she despised her, Liang Jinfen's words were not without reason. She couldn't just let her continue being noisy and annoying. Yes, mother, bring it over. Okay, Liang Jinfen said, and put the baby next to Su Xiaodi. Su Xiaodi fed Liang Jinfen for a while and said helplessly, Mother, there's no milk. Liang Jinfen frowned. What? Without milk? How is the child going to survive? I don't know. Su Xiaodi shook her head. If there's no milk, then we can only look for milk. I can buy a goat and feed it some milk. Then it will be able to survive. Su Xiaodi said with a bitter face, Mother, sheep is so expensive. How can we afford it? It's okay if it's a boy, but my in-laws definitely won't spend the money on a girl. Then what can we do? Liang Jinfen frowned. If this didn't work, that didn't work, then wouldn't the child have to wait to starve to death? Chapter 1453. That's right, we spent a lot of effort and herbs this time. Pay the medical fees as well. When Liang Jinfen heard that they still had to pay the medical fees, she couldn't remain calm and complained to the doctor. What? We still have to pay the medical fees? The doctor frowned unhappily and replied, Of course we have to pay the medical fees. Otherwise, do you think we save people for nothing? Do you think we used medicine for nothing? Our clinic doesn't do charity. There are so many sick people outside. If we don't pay the medical fees, our clinic will close down in a few days. Liang Jinfen pursed her lips. She naturally understood this logic, but she was still unwilling to give up. She said to the doctor, I understand, doctor. We'll pay the money. But how much money do we have to pay? Liang Jinfen was worried that the people in the clinic would be greedy and ask for a lot. A total of 5 taels of silver. Whether a life is worth 5 taels of silver or not, you have to weigh it in your heart. 5 taels of silver was not a small sum. Ordinary people might not even earn 5 taels of silver in a year. Even the Huang family's conditions for doing business were not bad. The shop's income was estimated to be 5 taels of silver in a month. Although there was no need for Liang Jinfen to pay the money, the Huang family could pay for it. But the problem was that Su Xiaodi had given birth to a girl. The Huang family would definitely be unhappy. If they were to pay so much money, they would definitely have a problem with Su Xiaodi. When the time came, who knew what to say about Su Xiaodi? Liang Jinfen began to worry. Her daughter's life in the Huang family was not good. Then she would not have a good life either. After all, she still had to rely on her daughter to support her in the future. Su Xiaodi's future was her future. Su Xiaodi's face turned even paler. She said to Liang Jinfen, Mother, what should we do? 5 taels of silver is too much. My in-laws will definitely scold me. How can they bear to take out this money? Liang Jinfen was silent for a moment. She frowned. Yes, your in-laws will definitely not bear to take out this money. Mother, please help me think of a way. Su Xiaodi looked pleadingly at Liang Jinfen. Her eyes were filled with fear and worry. Seeing her daughter like this, Liang Jinfen felt helpless. If she had so much money in her pocket, she could pay for the medical expenses. However, she didn't have that much money in her hands. Liang Jinfen sighed and said this, Mother will go and discuss with the doctor to see if we can reduce the price. When the doctor heard Liang Jinfen's words, he directly refused, Don't discuss it. What's there to discuss? 5 taels of silver is already too expensive. Your daughter and nephew's life are worth more than 5 taels of silver, right? But she was not willing to give up. She continued to plead, "Doctor, please do us a favor and give us a discount. We are all poor people. How can we afford so much money? This sister-in-law, I have run this medical center for so many years. This is the first time I have seen someone haggle. Every day, so many people come. If everyone get a discount, how can we continue to run this medical center? All right, I won't talk to you anymore. If you don't pay up, you can wait to see the officials." Su Zhaodi quickly pulled Liang Jinfen and said, "Mother, let's forget it." Chapter 1454. Su Zhaodi shook her head. "Mother, I don't know either. We can only wait for my in-laws to come. At most, they'll scold us a few times. It's impossible that they won't pay for it." Liang Jinfen sighed. "If it weren't for the fact that we're afraid of your in-laws giving us a hard time, we wouldn't have to worry about this. Sigh, it's a girl after all. If it were a boy, we wouldn't have to worry about it now." Su Zhaodi's brows were tinged with sadness because of Liang Jinfen's words. "Mother, hurry and carry him further away. He's making so much noise beside me," Su Zhaodi said to Liang Jinfen. Liang Jinfen glanced at the toddler and nodded. "All right, I'll carry him further away. I'm also annoyed by his noise." Su Zhaodi nodded. Liang Jinfen carried the toddler to the outer room and casually placed him on a stool. He didn't care about him anymore. After Zhao Yuner saw it, she was speechless to the mother and daughter. They really pushed all the blame onto a toddler. Looking at the toddler who was placed on the stool and ignored, Zhao Yuner's heart ached. If the toddler continued to be tormented like this, Zhao Yuner was really worried that he would lose his life. After all, the toddler had just been born and was very weak. He couldn't withstand the torment. Su Zhaodi didn't have any milk and obviously didn't want to give the toddler any milk. If the toddler starved for a day, he might even lose his life. Mulan was also very angry when she saw Liang Jinfen and his daughter's behavior. How cruel must they be to treat a child like this? After all, the child was a piece of flesh that fell from her body. As a mother, shouldn't she be protecting her child? How could she let Liang Jinfen carry him out? Mulan whispered in Zhao Yuner's ear. "Yuner, your second aunt and cousin are really something. It's a sin to give birth to a child with them." Zhao Yuner nodded. "Yes, it's a pity that we can't interfere in other people's affairs. A newborn child is left out in the cold. I guess only they would do something like that." Zhao Yuner sighed slightly. "It can't be helped. It's the child who suffers when the adults are like this. After all, I'm the one who saved this child. I don't expect anything else. I just hope that he can grow up safely." Mulan also sighed. At this moment, the toddler's mother Mulan could not help but say, "Hey, I'll go carry her. She needs to be coaxed. If she continues crying like this, her throat will be damaged." Mulan's heart softened. She walked over to the toddler and held him in her arms. Zhao Yuner followed her. After Mulan held the toddler in her arms, she gently patted the toddler and gently coaxed him. After a while, the toddler stopped crying and quieted down. Mulan saw this, and a gratified smile appeared on her face. "Yuner, look, the child finally stopped crying. He must be tired from crying. He's asleep now." Zhao Yuner looked over. The toddler was sleeping peacefully. Although the child was a little ugly, newborn children were the purest things in the world. They had not been tainted by the complexity of human nature. Zhao Yuner liked children. She felt a lot closer to the toddler. She said, "This child is actually quite cute." Chapter 1455. Usually, it was hard to coax a noisy child once they started crying. However, this child didn't even need to be coaxed for long before she stopped crying. Right, so obedient. Zhao Yuner couldn't help but stroke the child's little face. Mulan continued to sigh and said, "What a good child. It's a pity that the adults don't know how to cherish her." Even if a daughter can't compare to a son, she was still the one who gave birth to the child. It doesn't matter whether the child is a boy or a girl. Sometimes a daughter knows how to dote on others better. Zhao Yun'er, who had lived in the 21st century, didn't have the mindset of valuing boys over girls. However, the reason why Su Zhaodi and Liang Jinfen could be so heartless was not only because they valued boys over girls, but also because they had too much hope in the beginning. Now, they were so disappointed. If she gave birth to a son, Su Zhaodi's status in her husband's family would be extraordinary. Now that she gave birth to a daughter and had to spend 5 taels on medical fees, her future life would probably be more difficult than his 2 sisters-in-law. Mulan, sister-in-law, you're more open-minded. It's a blessing to be your daughter. Mulan smiled at Zhao Yun'er's words and said, I'm just speaking the truth. My family's flowers are really good. Haha. When I mentioned a daughter, Zhao Yun'er was also contemplating whether or not she should give birth to a daughter in the future. It was said that daughters were considerate and were their parents' little cotton-padded jackets. When she was old, her daughter would be able to dote on her and take care of her. However, giving birth wasn't something she could do alone. She had to do it with Mu Lianfeng. When she thought of this, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but blush. In the end, she hadn't experienced the matters between a man and a woman. Zhao Yun'er looked at the sleeping child and felt that this child was very pitiful. She was born prematurely and didn't have any water. The adults at home didn't care about her, so the child couldn't go on like this. She couldn't possibly watch her own child being tortured to death. Just as Zhao Yun'er was frowning and thinking about what to do, a few people walked in from outside. It was Su Zhaodi's in-laws. It wasn't Zhao Yun'er or Liang Jinfen who informed them. It was a passerby who happened to know the Huang family and brought the news to the Huang family. When the Huang family heard the news, they immediately rushed over without stopping to rest. Su Zhaodi's man, Huang Yugue, rushed in and asked, Is my wife okay? Did you save my son? The doctor pointed to the inner room and said, The patient is lying down inside. Both the mother and the child are fine. It's just a medical fee of 5 taels. Since your family is here, you can pay for it. Just now, the doctor had asked Liang Jinfen for it, but Liang Jinfen said that he would wait for his in-laws to come and give it to him. Now, Su Zhaodi's in-laws finally arrived. Huang Yugue said, Doctor, wait a moment. I'll go and see my wife and son first. Seeing that there was no hurry, the doctor nodded and said, All right, you can go and take a look first. Huang Yugue rushed into the inner room. When he was in the room, he asked Su Zhaodi, Zhaodi, how are you feeling? Can you hold on? Su Zhaodi shook her head. Husband, I'm fine. That's good, that's good. Huang Yugue muttered, looking very relieved. Su Zhaodi met Huang Yugue's concerned eyes and felt a little guilty. Husband, what's wrong, wife? Chapter 1456. Huang Yugue asked Su Zhaodi anxiously, Wife, what's wrong? Tell me, are you still feeling unwell? Look at you, you're so weak. When we go back, I'll ask my mother to cook more delicious food for you to nourish your body. You were born prematurely, so your body needs to rest well. With that, Huang Yugue thoughtfully tugged at Su Zhaodi's hand and said, Wife, it's been hard on you today. It wasn't easy for you to give birth to our son. By the way, where's our son? Su Zhaodi followed and asked anxiously. That's right, third brother's wife. Where's our precious grandson? Where is he? Su Zhaodi's expression changed instantly. Her eyes filled with worry and fear. Mulan carried the baby over and handed it to the Huang couple, saying, The child is here for you. The Huang couple happily took it and looked at the baby in their arms. They smiled and said, He's indeed our Huang family's child. Look at him. He looks so much like Yugue. That's right. He looks like Yugue. He looks like our Huang family's blessed. Oh my, our Huang family's precious grandson. Hearing the Huang couple's words, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but twitch her mouth. She said to the Huang couple, This child isn't your grandson. He's your granddaughter. After Zhao Yun'er said this, the Huang couple was stunned. They glanced at the child in their arms and said to Zhao Yun, What did you say? What grandson and granddaughter? Isn't this our Huang family's grandson? How did he become our granddaughter? Zhao Yun rolled her eyes at the Huang couple. Am I not clear enough? This child is a girl, not a boy. Shouldn't she be your Huang family's granddaughter? What, this child is a girl? How can this be a girl? You'll know when you see it for yourself. After Zhao Yun said this, the Huang couple hurriedly looked at the child's features. When they saw that it was female features, they panicked. How can this be a girl? Oh my, what should he do? Another loser? Su Zhaoti's mother-in-law cried. On the other hand, Su Zhaoti's father-in-law's face darkened and was filled with displeasure. Didn't you say that third daughter-in-law's child was a boy? Why is it a girl now? How would I know? I also want to know how my grandson became my granddaughter. Our Huang family still doesn't have a male child. Originally, we were hoping that our third daughter-in-law could give birth to one. Now great, she didn't give birth again. Will our Huang family have no descendants in the future? Oh man, how would I know? Our Huang family has accumulated so much good fortune. Is the heavens blind? Why don't they let our Huang family have a descendant? At the end of the day, it's all because third brother's wife's stomach is disappointing. She can't give birth to a child for our Huang family. There are already a few losers at home. If there's another one, how are we going to feed so many of them? Might as well give it to someone else. What's the point of having so many? When she heard the Huang couple's words, Zhao Yun felt even more surprised. She had finally seen the seriousness of this era's preference for boys over girls. It was probably because the Huang family was too eager to have a grandson that they had such a reaction. Chapter 1457. It was hard to say whether the child would be a boy or a girl. If the child could be decided by oneself, there would be more men than women in ancient times. At that time, how can man get a wife? Seeing that Su Zhaoti gave birth to a girl, Su Zhaoti's two brothers and sisters-in-law breathed a sigh of relief. After all, if Su Zhaoti gave birth to a boy, they would be at a disadvantage. They could still work hard, and maybe they could give birth to the Huang family's first grandson. When Huang Yugue heard the news, his face suddenly changed. She's pregnant with a girl? That's right. Yugue, it's your wife's fault. Su Zhaoti's mother-in-law rolled her eyes at Su Zhaoti and nagged at Huang Yugue. As she spoke, she stuffed the girl in her arms into Su Zhaoti's arms with disgust. It's just a girl. We don't need to mobilize so many people to come here. Let's go back. As she spoke, she pulled the Huang family and prepared to leave. Seeing this, the doctor immediately became anxious and blocked the Huang family's way. You can leave, but you have to pay the money first. 5 taels of silver. You can't leave me out. The Huang couple snorted and said, Didn't we just save a good for nothing? Then we'll give her to you. 5 taels of silver? No way. It was the doctor's first time encountering such a situation. He felt strange and speechless. How can you be like this? My lord, the child has been saved. How can you not pay now? If you don't pay, I'll go to the yamen and sue you. The Huang couple were also unreasonable people. They argued with the doctor. If you want to sue us, then sue us. We're not afraid of you. You didn't save us, and we didn't send her here for you to save. The doctor really had no way to deal with unreasonable people. You're too much. What's wrong with us? We won't pay. Anyway, if you want to sue us, go ahead. Don't stop us. With that, the Huangs pushed the doctor, and a few of them left the clinic. Zhao Yun, and Mulan looked at each other. The Huang family's attitude really opened their eyes. Now that the Huang family didn't pay the medical fees, how should they settle the medical fees? Su Zhaoti guiltily pulled Huang Yogue's hand. Husband, you can't just leave me alone. Can you persuade father and mother to help me pay the medical fees? Huang Yugue changed his concern for Su Zhaoti and said to Su Zhaoti, You still have the face to say this to me? You failed to live up to expectations and gave birth to a money-losing baby. You even asked for 5 taels of silver for the medical expenses. I've lost all my face because of you. How can I beg my parents to pay for it? Husband, Su Zhaoti didn't expect Huang Yugue to say such words to her. She looked at Huang Yugue with tears in her eyes. Didn't you see the reactions of eldest brother eldest sister-in-law, second brother, and second sister-in-law just now? In the face of Huang Yogui's reprimand, Su Zhaodi was at a loss for words. When Liang Jinfin saw her daughter being wronged, she could not help but say to Huang Yogui, "You can't do this. After all, Zhaodi is your wife. You can't just ignore her." Chapter 1458. Liang Jinfin was speechless for a moment. Women were so pitiful. They couldn't give birth to a son and could only suffer in their in-laws' family. Huang Yogui's words weren't unreasonable. The purpose of marrying a wife was to continue the family line. If they couldn't give birth to a son, then they were in the wrong. Just like himself, he couldn't give birth to a son after marrying into his in-laws' family. He also suffered from the disdain of his in-laws. Fortunately, they hadn't separated yet. When they did, they wouldn't have a son. Their family wouldn't be able to get much and would have to give everything to the other families who had sons. Liang Jinfin thought for a moment and gently persuaded Huang Yogui, "Zhao did a good job, but the medical fees still have to be paid. Persuade your mother to pay the 5 taels first. You're still young and will definitely be able to get pregnant again and give birth to a son." However, Huang Yogui was not so easily fooled. It's hard to say whether or not she can give birth to a boy. Anyway, our Huang family will definitely not take out these 5 silver taels. With these 5 silver taels, we can find a new wife. After Huang Yogui finished speaking, he didn't care about his newborn son and Su Zhaodi and turned to leave. Looking in the direction Huang Yogui left, Liang Jinfin and her daughter were stunned and couldn't react for a moment. Huang Yogui's meaning was very clear. He wouldn't pay the 5 taels for the medical fees. In ancient times, 5 taels could indeed be used to marry a new wife. Some didn't even need to spend 5 taels. Because he was prejudiced against Su Zhaodi giving birth to a daughter, he felt that Su Zhaodi might give birth to a daughter in the future. In that case, he might as well marry a new wife. Who knows, he might be able to find a wife who could give birth to a son. After Huang Yogui left for a while, Su Zhaodi's heart sank to the bottom. Su Zhaodi began to cry and said to Liang Jinfin, "Mother, what should we do? What should we do with the 5 taels for the medical fees? My husband doesn't even care about me anymore." Liang Jinfin was very anxious. "This is great. Zhaodi, where are we going to get the 5 taels? Oh my God, inhumane. Are your in-laws still human?" Liang Jinfin cried as he slapped his thigh. Even if her daughter gave birth to a baby girl, her in-laws didn't have to be like this, right? "Mother." "Oh." Su Zhaodi cried even harder. Her husband and in-laws had left, and she didn't know if she could return to her in-laws' house. Even if she returned to her in-laws' family would probably be the same as they were now. With this attitude, her life would be very torturous. Liang Jinfin yelled loudly. The sleeping child was woken up, and the baby started crying again. Wah wah wah. Liang Jinfin became even more annoyed when he heard the baby's cries. "Cry, cry, cry. You only know how to cry. If it wasn't for you, would your mother have ended up like this?" Liang Jinfin reprimanded. "Mother, my in-laws probably don't like this child. They won't spend money to buy her a goat and feed her with goat's milk. I don't have any milk, so I definitely won't be able to keep her alive. Just throw her away. Save me the trouble of seeing her." Su Zhaodi hardened her heart and said directly to Liang Jinfin. Liang Jinfin hesitated. "Zhaodi, are you really going to throw the child away? Your in-laws didn't say anything about throwing her away. After all, she's a child of the Huang family." Chapter 1459. Liang Jinfin felt that Su Zhaodi's words made sense. That's true. If this child doesn't have any milk to drink, and your in-laws and we don't have the money to buy a lamb, why don't we just give her away or throw her away? Otherwise, this child will be a burden to you in the future. Su Zhaodi nodded, her eyes turning cold. She didn't like this child at all. In fact, she hated it. If it weren't for her, would she be in this situation now? Since the Huang family and her husband didn't care, Why should she care about this child? It was better to throw her away as far away as possible. Out of sight, out of mind. Zhao Yun was taken aback when she heard the mother and daughter's conversation. How cruel could they be to do this? Wasn't this girl a child? Wasn't she the one who had painstakingly given birth to her? Throwing a child like this away was equivalent to killing her. This kind of person was too scary. As Liang Jinfen spoke, he picked up the child and carried her out. He was about to throw her away when he muttered, "It's a girl, not a boy. Who can give her away? No family wants to raise a money-losing child. It's better to just throw her away." Su Zhaodi didn't have any objections. She didn't want to care about this child anyway. Zhao Yun'er immediately stood in front of Liang Jinfen and said to Liang Jinfen, "Second aunt, that's not right. After all, she's your biological granddaughter. How can you just throw her away like that?" Liang Jinfen looked at Zhao Yun with displeasure and said to Zhao Yun, "So what? Little Yun, there are plenty of girls in the countryside who are thrown away after giving birth. Even the government doesn't care. Don't tell me you want to care?" Zhao Yun's expression turned cold. Liang Jinfen was right. She didn't have the right to care. But was she just going to watch this child die? She didn't want that. How could such an obedient child do such a cruel thing to a fresh little life? Mulan couldn't help but complain. "Although we can't care, you're too cruel. Such a young child is so pitiful. If the child is like this, she'll be tortured to death. I don't know what you're thinking, but I feel that this child is so pitiful. Daughters are human beings too. You'll suffer retribution if you're too cruel." How could Liang Jinfen listen to Mulan? What retribution? This child was a Jinx's mother? Not only that, she had caused her daughter to almost lose her life, and Suze's husband's Tess despise her. This child's child should be thrown far, far away. Should be a good, as luck's a good luck's her. Get out of the way. Don't meddle in things that you shouldn't meddle in. Liang Jinfen snorted and pushed Mulan and Zhao Yun aside. Seeing that Liang Jinfen was determined to throw the child away, Zhao Yun grabbed Liang Jinfen. Liang Jinfen looked at Zhao Yun with displeasure and said to Zhao Yun, "Lass, what are you trying to do? It's my family's problem to lose my child. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you meddling in this?" Zhao Yun's eyes turned cold. She said to Liang Jinfen, "Second aunt, since you're going to throw the child away, why don't you give her to me? You want this child? Yes, I can't just watch her die outside. But let me say this first. This child has nothing to do with you in the future. Don't wait for me to raise her. You can come and claim her." Chapter 1460. It was a good thing that Zhao Yun was willing to keep this money-losing child. How could she possibly ask for it back? Liang Jinfen said, "Don't worry, Yun. If you're willing to keep it, we'll give it back to you. We won't ask for it back." Zhao Yun smirked. "Second aunt, your words don't count. Why don't you and cousin Zhaodi write a written agreement for me? That way, we'll have proof when we return." Liang Jinfen's mouth twitched. He said to Zhao Yun, "Don't worry, Yun. If you take good care of this money-losing child, we'll write a written agreement." Su Zhaodi didn't have any objections. After all, it was her child. If Zhao Yun took care of it, it would at least have a way to survive. It was better than throwing it away and letting it die. Okay. Seeing that the two of them were very cooperative, Zhao Yun took out a pen and paper and wrote down the contents of the agreement. The general agreement was that Zhao Yun would take care of the child and that it would have nothing to do with anyone else in the future. After Su Zhaodi and Liang Jinfen pressed their fingerprints, Zhao Yun tucked herself into her sleeve. Mulan helped Zhao Yun carry the child. "Yun are you really going to take care of this child?" Mulan asked. Zhao Yun nodded. "Yes. We can't really let this child be thrown away and starve to death, right? It's a life after all. Even if they picked up a kitten or a puppy on the streets, they couldn't bear to see it die." Mulan felt that Zhao Yun made a lot of sense. She said yes. "We watched her give birth to the child with our own eyes. It's fine if we didn't know, but now that we know, we can't bear to see her die. Yes, we can't help it. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame this child's bad luck. Encountering such a family was simply a sin. The crying child was in Mulan's arms. Mulan gently coaxed him a few times, and then he stopped crying. She slept quietly in Mulan's arms. Perhaps it was because he was too hungry. He stuck his fingers into his mouth and sucked nonstop, making smacking sounds. Mulan looked at the baby's appearance, and her heart ached a little. Hey, look at how obedient this child is. He's probably starving now. Yin, let's go to the market to buy a goat and feed this child some goat milk. Yes, yes. Zhao Yun'er happened to have the same plan. A sheep was estimated to cost 2 taels of silver. It was not cheap. Fortunately, she still had a lot of money in her hands, which was enough to buy these things. Zhao Yun'er was preparing to leave with Mulan when the doctor came over and started to urge them for money again. I say, who's going to pay? Previously, you told me that your in-laws were going to pay, but they refused. Now, someone has to pay, right? Hurry up and take out the 5 taels of silver. Otherwise, I'll report it to the officials and have you and your mother arrested. When Liang Jinfen heard this, his expression changed slightly. He looked at the doctor with a bitter face and said, "Doctor, we really don't have money." "You see," the doctor said coldly, "what do I see? Do you still want to bargain with me or refuse to give it to me? Let me tell you, don't go too far. It's not that good to dine and dash. When you're arrested and sent to the officials, don't regret it and refuse to pay." Liang Jinfen was so frightened that his expression changed slightly. While he was worried and afraid, he really couldn't take out the 5 taels of silver. Chapter 1461. Zhao Yun'er's brows knitted together. She felt that it was very strange. Why was this matter pushed to her again? Her second aunt was really something. Everyone said that a mad dog would bite randomly when cornered. Her second aunt was exactly like that. The doctor looked at Zhao Yun'er and hesitated for a moment. He did not ask Zhao Yun'er for money. Zhao Yun'er stared at Liang Jinfen and asked, "Second aunt, why don't you tell me why I have to pay for these 5 taels of silver?" Liang Jinfen pursed his lips and said, "Of course you have to pay for it. Yun'er, you're the one who sent my Zhaodi here. If you didn't, my Zhaodi wouldn't have spent these 5 taels of silver. So you have to pay for these 5 taels of silver." After Liang Jinfen finished speaking, he added to the doctor, "Doctor, I didn't send him here. You can ask whoever sent him for the medical fees. Anyway, I don't have any money to give you." The doctor was in a difficult position. He knew very well that Liang Jinfen was being shameless and unreasonable, who had asked the person who sent him to pay for treatment to pay for it. If this went on, who would dare to do a good deed in the future? At the same time, the doctor knew that if Liang Jinfen refused to pay, it would be troublesome for him to report it to the authorities. Most importantly, after the authorities arrested him, he might not return the 5 taels of silver for the medical fees. In any case, the ones who would suffer in the end would be their clinic. If Zhao Yun'er could pay for it, it would be best. "Miss, since you're relatives, why don't you help pay these 5 taels of silver for the medical fees first? Can't you ask them for the money later?" Zhao Yun'er directly refused. "Doctor, do you think this is appropriate? Don't you know who to ask for the money from?" The doctor felt that he was in the wrong, so he shut up and did not say anything else. Then, he turned to Liang Jinfen and said, "Are you going to pay or not? If you don't, I'm really going to call the authorities. If this young lady doesn't pay for you, then you have to pay for it yourself." Liang Jinfen panicked. He looked at the doctor and then at Zhao Yun'er. "Doctor, I really can't afford it. If I could afford the 5 taels of silver, why wouldn't I pay? Please let us go. My daughter is also very pitiful. You saw it yourself just now. What can we do with our in-laws?" Although the doctor sympathized with Liang Jinfen and Su Zhaodi, he had seen too many similar situations. Some were even more pitiful than Liang Jinfen and Su Zhaodi. They opened medical centers, not for charity. At the end of the day, it was all about making money. Everyone complained tearfully. If they didn't pay, the clinic would have closed long ago. Therefore, the doctor said with a cold face, "Not a single cent less. You have to pay. I'll give you 2 hours. If you can't come up with the money, the authorities will come." Liang Jinfin trembled, his face full of worry. It seemed that he had no choice but to pay the 5 taels of silver. Liang Jinfin looked at Zhao Yun'er and began to play the sympathy card. He said to Zhao Yun'er, "Last Yun'er, look at Zhaodi. She's your cousin after all. She's already pitiful enough today. You can't bear to see this child abandoned. Naturally, you can't bear to see Zhaodi suffer. Second aunt knows that you have money. If you want to help us, then help us to the end. Why don't you pay these 5 taels of silver as well? Second aunt and Zhaodi will be grateful to you for the rest of our lives. Yun'er, second aunt is really begging you." Chapter 1462. The corners of Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched when she saw this. She was willing to raise the child. After all, it was a life. However, she felt that there was no need to help shameless people like Liang Jinfin and Su Zhaodi. Her own life was important, but was the child's life not important? Seeing that these two people did not care about the child at all and had even cruelly abandoned the child, why should she care about them? Zhao Yun'er coldly rejected. "Second aunt, it's easy for you to say that. 5 taels of silver is not a small sum. Your family has always been talking about having money. How can you not have the money? After so many years, second aunt must have saved up a secret stash of money. Moreover, cousin Zhaodi is living a good life with her in-laws. She has a lot of jewelry on her. Second aunt, why don't you take out your secret stash of money, and cousin Zhaodi can sell her jewelry to raise the money. We will definitely be able to raise the money." Liang Jinfin's expression stiffened when he heard this. Zhao Yun, it was right. If they really had to raise the money, they would definitely be able to raise the 5 taels of silver. However, how could he be willing to take out the secret stash of money that he had saved up for a long time? This money was reserved for emergencies in the future. "Yin, this, second aunt, you can settle your own matters. I have to go back." Zhao Yun'er said. She could not be bothered with Liang Jinfin anymore. She pulled Mu Hin and Mu Lan and left the medical center together. Liang Jinfin immediately panicked. He wanted to leave with Zhao Yun'er, but was stopped by the doctor. "Where are you going? You can't leave. You can only leave after you pay me the money." "Doctor, Liang Jinfin was helpless. It looked like he really had to fork out his own money." After leaving the clinic, Zhao Yun'er's mood suddenly improved a lot without Liang Jinfin, the weirdo, in front of her. The baby in Mulan's arms was still obedient and sensible. It didn't cry and continued to suck on its own fingers. Zhao Yun'er glanced at the baby's quiet little face, and the unpleasantness just now dissipated a lot. Although she wasn't his biological child, he couldn't help but like a newborn baby. It was not the child's fault for having such parents. Zhao Yun'er would not vent her anger on the child for Su Zhaodi's strange behavior. At the end of the day, no matter what the parents did, the child was innocent. Mulan shook her head and sighed. "Sigh. Yun'er, I've seen it for myself today. There are too many weird people. What kind of relative is your second aunt? How dare she set you up?" Zhao Yun'er snorted. "Unfortunately, it's useless even if she wants to trick you. We can't let her take advantage of you so easily." "Sigh, that's true. But it's fine now. Let's go out and let him solve it himself. Let's go buy some sheep. Let's go back and get some milk for the child. Don't let her go hungry for too long." Mulan was full of motherly love at this moment. As a mother, Mulan naturally couldn't help but treat such a small child well. Zhao Yun'er nodded and glanced at the baby again. She thought that if she really brought this child back, she would have to take good care of her. However, she didn't have any experience in raising children. When she took over the original owner, Daodu was already 3 years old. He was much easier to raise than a pink baby. Chapter 1463. Mulan's sister-in-law. "If there's anything that I don't know, you have to teach me a little. You're more experienced than me in taking care of children." Zhao Yun'er said to Mulan. Mulan chuckled. "Don't worry, Yun. If you want to take care of this child, feel free to call me if you need my help. I won't refuse. Children are young and the most tiring. You definitely won't be able to handle alone. When I'm free, I'll help you take care of her. This child and I are fated to be together. Looking at her makes one's heart ache. In the future, I'll treat her as my own daughter." After hearing Mulan's words, Zhao Yun'er's lips curled into a smile. The two of them quickly arrived at the market and found a place to sell sheep. Dozens of sheep were penned up, and the rams and ewes were sold separately. Because the ewes had milk, the price was a little more expensive than the rams. Zhao Yun'er asked the stall owner to pick a ewe with more milk and spent about 2 taels of silver to buy it. The ewes were led by a rope and placed on the donkey cart. Mulan carried the toddler onto the ox cart, and a few of them rushed towards Shui Lan village. When they returned to Shui Lan village, many people saw the toddler in Mulan's arms and curiously came forward to ask. Zhao Yun'er was afraid that if she told these people the truth while raising the child, she would definitely have to face the gossip in the village when the child was growing up. Thus, she didn't say anything and didn't tell them the truth. At that time, no matter how these people guessed, they wouldn't be able to guess the reason. The few of them first went to Zhao Yun'er's house. Mulan carried the toddler into the house, and Zhao Yun led the ewe into the wooden shed. In the future, there would be one more ewe to accompany Xiao Mao in the wooden shed. Dowda saw a small toddler lying on the bed and curiously went forward to ask, "Auntie, who is this little sister? Why is she in my house?" Mulan smiled at Dowdu and said, "This is the little sister that your mother brought back to accompany you. Dowdu will be able to see her often in the future." Dowdu stared at the toddler and felt that although the toddler wasn't good-looking and her body was wrinkled, she looked a little cute when she nibbled on her fingers. After staring at her for a while, Dowdu smiled and said, "Auntie, is that true? Dowdu will be able to see this little sister often in the future?" "Of course it's true. Dowdu is so happy. She looks so little sister." "Of course she is." "Then, is T that's right. Dowdu will be big brother from now on." SDSS and SSS no, that's great. Dowdu can't be his big brother. Among the people he knew, he was the youngest, so he couldn't be big brother. Now that he had a little sister who was even younger than him, happiness naturally arose spontaneously. Zhao Yun assumed out his happy smile as soon as she entered the house, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. It seemed that bringing this toddler back was a good thing. At least, there would be someone to accompany Dowdu as he grew up. After Dowdu became big brother, he would have to take on the responsibility of being big brother. This would be very beneficial for developing Dowdu's sense of responsibility. "Dowdu, do you like little sisters?" Zhao Yun'er asked with a smile. Chapter 1464. Zhao Yun'er stroked Dowdu's head. "It's good that you like it." Dowdu's happiness and unhappiness were all written on his face. Seeing Dowdu's expression, Zhao Yun'er knew that Dowdu really liked it. Perhaps children also like this kind of tender baby. Mulan called out to Zhao Yun, let's hurry up and feed the baby fresh milk." Zhao Yun nodded and responded, "Okay." She went to the kitchen and took out a bowl. Then, she went to the wooden shed and prepared to milk the goat. The ewe's milk was indeed very sufficient. Zhao Yun didn't have to milk it for long before a bowl was full. However, the baby probably couldn't drink a bowl at once. She would put the rest aside and wait for the baby to be hungry. She would heat it up and give it to her. Unfortunately, there were no milk bottles in this era. It was a little inconvenient to feed the baby, so she could only use a spoon to feed it slowly. If there were milk bottles, it wouldn't be like this. Mulan took the goat's milk from Zhao Yun'er's hand and said to Zhao Yun, let me do it. I'll feed it." "Okay." Zhao Yun didn't argue and directly handed the bowl to Mulan. After all, Mulan had given birth to several children. She was much more experienced in taking care of children than she was. Mulan took the bowl and a small spoon. She said to the baby, Okay, baby. You don't have to eat your own hand anymore. I'll feed you milk now." As Mulan spoke, she scooped up a spoonful of goat's milk with a small spoon. She put it to the baby's mouth and carefully poured it into the baby's mouth. After drinking the goat's milk, the baby was probably really hungry. It ate it noisily. After finishing the spoonful of goat milk, the baby opened its mouth and seemed to be waiting for Mulan to feed it more. Mulan quickly made another spoonful of goat milk. Finally, After feeding half a bowl of goat milk, the baby was finally full and did not open its mouth again. Mulan put away the spoon and said to Zhao Yuner, "All right, Yuner, she's already full. You can feed her the rest of the goat's milk when she's hungry." Zhao Yuner nodded. After the toddler was full, he stopped sucking on his fingers and quickly fell asleep. The corners of Zhao Yuner's lips curled up slightly when she saw the baby's reaction. It seemed that the child was going to sleep. He placed her on the bed and let her sleep well. There was no need to take care of her too much. After Mulan glanced at the toddler, she said to Zhao Yuner, "Yuner, I'll go back first. If anything happens to the child and you can't handle it alone, call me." "All right, sister-in-law Mulan, you can go back." "Uh-huh." After Mulan left, Zhao Yuner glanced at the toddler. Such a small child shouldn't be able to turn over yet. The bed was so big, there shouldn't be any accidents if she fell asleep. Now that Daodu was in the room, Zhao Yuner said to Daodu, "Daodu, can you help Mother look after the little sister? Mother will go cook now." Daodu nodded obediently and replied, "Uh-huh, Mother, go ahead. Daodu will look after the little sister. I promise I won't let anything happen to her." Daodu is so obedient. Daodu raised his small face with a bright smile on his face. Although the toddler was already asleep, Daodu stayed by the toddler's side in high spirits. He cupped his face with his small hands and carefully observed the sleeping toddler. Chapter 1465. Zhao Yuner glanced at the baby, then turned around and went to the kitchen to prepare lunch. By the time the meal was ready, Mu Yinfeng had also returned from the mountain. Seeing the baby in the house, Mu Yinfeng was slightly stunned. He asked Zhao Yuner, "Whose child is this?" "Guess." "I can't guess." Mu Yinfeng shook his head. He felt that Zhao Yuner was making things difficult for him. Among the people that Zhao Yuner usually interacted with, she had never heard of anyone who was pregnant. Could it be that this child was adopted by Zhao Yuner? No matter who it is, it will be ours in the future. I want to keep this child by my side. After raising her, she will be our daughter. Mu Yinfeng, what do you think? Mu Yinfeng glanced at the baby on the bed. The newborn child was so small and weak that it made people want to cherish her. Mu Yinfeng nodded and said, "Yuner, if you like, it's naturally no problem for you to keep her by your side." Seeing that Mu Yinfeng agreed, Zhao Yuner's lips curled up. Then, she told Mu Yinfeng what had happened. After listening to Zhao Yuner's words, Mu Yinfeng's love for the baby on the bed increased. "In that case, we have to take good care of this child. She's a pitiful person." "Yes," Zhao Yuner replied. How could a child not be pitiful when she was abandoned by her biological parents on the first day of her birth? However, Zhao Yuner would never let this child suffer any hardships if she followed them. She would definitely protect her in the palm of her hand and cherish her as her own child. Zhao Yuner called Mu Yinfeng for lunch. In the afternoon, Zhao Yuner went to stir the tea leaves and then handed the baby to Mu Yinfeng. Mu Yinfeng was a grown man. When had he ever taken care of such a small baby? However, Zhao Yuner had something to do, and he was at home. If he could help Zhao Yuner, he had to help her. The baby lay on the bed and slept quietly. He just had to make sure that nothing would happen to the baby. After Zhao Yuner left for a while, the baby woke up and lay on the bed, crying nonstop. Mu Yinfeng's brows furrowed slightly. He walked to the bed and glanced at the toddler. Then he picked the toddler up. "What's wrong, baby? Don't cry, don't cry." Mu Yinfeng hugged her carefully and coaxed her softly. Unfortunately, it didn't have any effect at all. The baby in Mu Yinfeng's arms was still crying, and she was crying so sadly that Mu Yinfeng's heart ached slightly. Wah wah, wah, wah wah wah. The baby was crying so sadly that her little face was red. Mu Yinfeng suddenly panicked. What was going on? Zhao Yuner wasn't here now. He was at a loss in this situation and didn't know how to solve it at all. "What should we do now?" Mu Yinfeng muttered. Such a small child couldn't speak. Otherwise, he could have told him so that he would know what was going on. Daodu was tired from playing outside. He walked into the room and heard the baby crying. He said to Mu Yinfeng, "Daddy, what's wrong with little sister? She's crying so sadly." "Daddy, did you bully little sister?" Mu Yinfeng's mouth twitched, and he smiled helplessly. How could he bear to bully such a small baby? Of course not, but Daddy doesn't know why little sister is crying. Chapter 1466. Mu Yinfeng thought about it for a moment, and it was indeed possible. Children would always cry when they were hungry. After knowing the reason, Mu Yinfeng breathed a sigh of relief. That should be the case. Let's feed her some goat's milk. Before Zhao Yun left, she had already told Mu Yinfeng to feed the baby some goat's milk if she was hungry. Zhao Yun had already prepared the goat's milk and placed it on the table. He took it and warmed it in hot water. Mu Yinfeng quickly placed the baby back on the bed and warmed up the goat's milk. Then, he came over and prepared to feed the baby. However, after drinking a mouthful of goat's milk, the baby continued to cry. Mu Yinfeng was puzzled. Could it be that it wasn't because she was hungry, but because of something else? Dao tugged at Mu Yinfeng's sleeve and said to Mu Yinfeng, "Father, little sister doesn't seem to be hungry. Hurry up and hug her and coax her." Mu Yinfeng frowned and put the bowl on the table. Then, he picked up the baby and paced back and forth to coax her. Okay, little baby, don't cry. Wah, wah, wah. The baby cried even louder. Dao couldn't help but say to Mu Yinfeng, "Father, it must be because you were too loud and scared the baby." Mu Yinfeng looked at Dao somewhat innocently. It was the first time he had been reprimanded by his own son, and it was because of a baby. Mu Yinfeng sighed in his heart. Great, now that his precious son had a little sister, he would ignore him in the future. It was obvious that he was biased towards the little sister. Wah, 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 the baby cried very pitifully. Both father and son were at a loss when they saw the baby like this. Dao frowned and said to Mu Yinfeng, "Father, I'd better go look for Mother. Mother is back. Little sister will definitely be fine." Mu Yinfeng nodded in agreement. In this situation, they could only look for Zhao Yun. Otherwise, if the baby continued to cry, even if she was fine, something would happen. Dao quickly ran out of the room, while Mu Yinfeng continued to hug the baby and coax her. When Zhao Yun came back, the baby immediately stopped crying. Mu Yinfeng was still puzzled. Could it be that this little baby understood human nature? When he knew that Zhao Yun was back, he immediately stopped crying and making a fuss. Why aren't you crying? Mu Yinfeng looked curiously at the baby in his arms. Yin, you didn't cry when you came back this time. You were crying so hard just now. Zhao Yun smiled and glanced at the baby. She said to Mu Yinfeng, "Come, give it to me. I'll hold it." Okay. When Mu Yinfeng handed over the baby in his arms, he felt that something was wrong. Then, he saw that his clothes were stained with urine. Mu Yinfeng immediately understood why the baby had been crying so miserably just now. But now, he had suddenly recovered. It turned out that the baby was crying because she wanted to pee. Now that she was done peeing, she naturally stopped crying and making trouble. Seeing a large wet patch on Mu Yinfeng's chest, Zhao Yun couldn't help but laugh out loud. Ha! Mu Yinfeng's face was calm, and he was rather speechless. This child actually peed on his body. Ha ha! Mu Yinfeng, her first pee was given to you. This is a glorious thing. It shows that this child likes you enough. Chapter 1467. Zhao Yun couldn't help but laugh a few more times. Mu Yinfeng's face was bitter. This was great. His body was soaked with urine, and he had to wash it properly. After Zhao Yun finished laughing, she said to Mu Yinfeng, "I'll boil some water for you to take a bath and change your clothes. I'll wash you later." Mu Yinfeng nodded and said, "Okay." Although it was a child's urine, the weather was very hot. If he didn't change his clothes and wash them, his body would soon smell. As for the baby, Zhao Yun was prepared to wipe his butt. With Mu Yinfeng's lesson this time, Zhao Yun knew that she had to make a few diapers for the child. Otherwise, it would be easy for him to urinate when he hugged him. Moreover, he was sleeping on the bed. If he peed on the bed, the smell would probably be stronger. At that time, the sheets would have to be changed and washed, which would be more troublesome. There were still some rags at home. She just had to cut a few pieces of cloth to use as diapers. Unfortunately, there were no diapers in ancient times. Otherwise, it would be convenient to use, and there would be no need to be afraid of the child's urine. After the baby finished peeing, Zhao Yun'er coaxed him a few times, and he quickly fell asleep. After putting the baby back on the bed, Zhao Yun'er took out a piece of rags and placed it under the baby's butt. Then, she quickly cut a few diapers and washed them together with Mu Lianfeng's clothes later. The diapers could be used after they were dried. Zhao Yun'er first went to boil a pot of water and let Mu Lianfeng take a bath. After helping the baby wipe his butt, she carried the clothes and went to the river. The women by the river were discussing animatedly. The news that Zhao Yun'er brought a baby back spread in the village. They were all discussing where the baby had come from and what it was for. Zhao Yun'er was a little speechless after hearing the boring gossip of these women. They were really curious about everything. I say, Yun'er girl, she brought back a boy to raise, but you brought back a money-losing thing. Exactly. Yun'er girl, if you want to raise a good-for-nothing, there are plenty of them in our village. I have some at home. Why don't I give you one? If I follow you, I'll be able to eat and drink well and live a good life. That's right. Yun'er, my family is one too. You've given birth to 3 girls in my wife's belly this year. If this baby is a girl again, why don't you take her back and help me raise her? Yun'er girl, you're still very young. Wouldn't it be great if you could give birth to your own child if you're together with the heir? Why are you raising someone else's daughter? Faced with these gossipy women's questions, Zhao Yun'er pursed her lips and said, This is my business. I'll raise whoever I want. She's my daughter from now on. You're not allowed to make a fuss. If I hear anyone gossiping later, see if I don't tear their mouth apart. After Zhao Yun'er fiercely warned them, the gossipy women immediately stopped talking. If Zhao Yun'er threw a tantrum, everyone would be afraid. At most, they wouldn't say it in front of her face, but they would still talk about it behind her back. Anyway, Zhao Yun'er's behavior was stupid in their eyes. The villagers had never helped raise someone else's daughter, unless it was raising a child bride. However, if Daodu was the heir's son, would he still be afraid of not being able to find a wife in the future? There was no need to raise him now. Chapter 1468. After returning, Daodu and Mu Lianfeng, one adult and one child, stay by the bed and watch the baby sleep. Both of their eyes were filled with love. The father and son also took good care of the baby. Even though they were not related by blood, they were still very close. It was a misfortune for the child to be abandoned by her parents, but for her family, the child was also blessed. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er had returned, Daodu pulled Zhao Yun'er and said to Zhao Yun'er, Mother, shouldn't we give little sister a name? Give her a name? Yes, Daodu has a name, and little sister should also have a name. In the future, Daodu can call little sister by her name. Zhao Yun'er thought about it, and felt that Daodu's words made sense. Children should be named. Zhao Yun'er glanced at the baby and asked Daodu first, Daodu, what do you think should be a good name for little sister? Daodu thought about it and said to Zhao Yun'er, Mother, let's call little sister Tian Tian in the future, okay? Look at little sister's sleeping appearance and the smell on her body. It's all sweet. Zhao Yun'er thought about it and replied, Okay, then let's call her little sister Tian Tian. Yes, yes. Daodu nodded heavily. Okay, you two father and son don't look anymore. Don't disturb her sleep. Okay. In the next few days, nothing major happened in the village. It was just that the weather was a little hotter, and it didn't take long for them to break out in a hot sweat. This kind of weather was fine for adults. They could just grit their teeth and bear with it. But for a newborn baby, it was a kind of torture. Zhao Yun'er realized that it was probably because it was too hot that the baby started to have heat rashes. It was probably very uncomfortable for such a young child to have heat rashes. However, there was no prickly heat powder in this era, and Zhao Yun'er did not know how to deal with it. The ancient and modern methods were different. Perhaps there were other methods. She had to ask around later. At present, Zhao Yun'er could only wipe the child's body more to prevent the child from sweating. In the past few days, Mulan had made 2 sets of clothes for the children. They were made from a silk that Zhao Yun had bought before. It was better for the child to wear these smooth clothes than to wear coarse clothes. At the same time, the baby was able to open his eyes. Daodu was the first to discover that the baby could open its eyes. Daodu called for Zhao Yuner and Mu Lianfeng in surprise when he saw the baby's big, bright eyes. "Father, mother, quickly look, little sister has opened her eyes. Little sister, your eyes are so big and beautiful." Seeing Daodu so excited, Zhao Yuner walked over and looked at Tian Tian. This child's eyes were really big, and the most important thing was that they were black like jewels. They were very bright, without any impurities. This pair of eyes was really moving. After a few days, the baby had grown a little and was no longer as wrinkled as when she was first brought back. Moreover, her eyelashes were also very long. Together with her eyes, the whole pair of eyes was extraordinarily beautiful. Su Zhaodi and Liang Jinfen probably would not have guessed that Tian Tian could grow to be so beautiful. As for Tian Tian's other facial features, they were relatively flat, so they didn't look very good. Zhao Yuner felt that the child was still young. Perhaps when the child grew up, she would become more and more beautiful. Chapter 1469. When Lil P said this, Tian Tian seemed to understand Lil P's words. Her beautiful eyes looked towards Tian Tian. Daodu began to introduce himself. "Little sister Tian Tian, I'm your big brother. This is mother, and this is father." Following Daodu's introduction, Tian Tian looked at Zhao Yun, and Mu Lianfeng. Then, a sweet smile appeared on her little face. Tian Tian smiled. This was the first time Zhao Yun and her family had seen this baby smile. Daodu said excitedly, "Father, mother, look at little sister's smile." Mu Lianfeng smiled and nodded. "Yes, she must be very happy to see her family. That's why she smiled at us. That means little sister likes us." "Yes, little sister likes us. That's great. We like little sister too." Tian Tian smiled for a while and then got tired. Daodu couldn't hold back his excitement and lay in front of Tian Tian's bed, chattering away. Tian Tian, on the other hand, was very respectful and listened to Daodu attentively. When Daodu smiled, she even giggled a few times. After Zhao Yun was done with the chores at home, she carried Tian Tian out for a walk and prepared to go to the third branch. After giving Liang Jinxiao the cold shoulder for a while, it was time to talk to him and get to know him better. Liang Jinxiao must have been very upset that she had neglected Liang Jinxiao for a while. When she went to the third branch, she would ask if they had any way to treat Tian Tian's heat rash. The baby was soft and comfortable in her arms. Because Tian Tian was a premature baby, he was very small and only weighed a few kilograms. It was not difficult to carry him. However, when she carried Tian Tian, Zhao Yuner carefully supported Tian Tian's back to prevent him from twisting his waist. Zhao Yuner soon arrived at Old Zhao's house. Old Zhao's sisters-in-law were sitting under a tree in the yard. They were holding fans in their hands, fanning themselves as they chatted. On such a hot day, all the work was done in the morning or in the evening. At this time, there was nothing to do. Liang Jinxiao smiled when he saw Zhao Yuner coming over. She knew that Zhao Yuner was angry with her, so she was embarrassed to look for Zhao Yuner. However, these days, Zhao Yuner didn't come to look for her, so she was a little anxious. Now, Zhao Yuner had finally arrived. Li Chueying had also become more polite. He hurriedly pulled out a stool and asked Zhao Yuner to sit down. "Come, Yuner girl, you must be tired from carrying the child. Hurry and sit down." Seeing Li Chueying being so polite, Zhao Yuner was not used to it. She was also a little embarrassed. "Thank you, second aunt. What are you thanking me for?" "You're welcome," Li Chueying replied. The sisters-in-law in the yard began to gossip. Feng Zhangxia said, "A few days ago, I heard from the villagers that you brought back a baby girl, Yuner, but I didn't have time to see her. Today, I finally saw her." "Yuner girl, tell us what's wrong with this child. Why did you bring back such a baby?" In the face of Feng Zhangxia's gossip, Zhao Yuner did not pay attention to it. She knew that his aunt was a gossipy woman. If she told him, she would probably spread it to the village. So, it was better not to say it. Chapter 1470. Feng Zhangxia began to scold her again. Yin'er, you're really muddle-headed. If you wanted a daughter, you could have given birth to one yourself. Why do you have to complain about what others have done? Zhao Yin'er pursed her lips and replied unhappily, Auntie, this is my business. You don't have to interfere, right? Feng Zhangxia smiled embarrassedly. Okay. I won't interfere. Yin'er, I'm just concerned about you. I don't think it's worth it for you. Since you don't want to hear it, I won't say it. Liang Jinxiao and Li Chuiying did not say anything. They looked at the baby in Zhao Yun'er's arms and felt that it was very cute. This child is so obedient. It's rare to see a child who doesn't cry or make a fuss in Yun'er's arms. Li Chuiying praised. Liang Jinxiao smiled and said, Yes, it's rare to see such an obedient child. Yun'er, where did you get it? Zhao Yun'er chuckled. Of course I got it from somewhere. But I'm here today to ask you what to do about the child's rash. It's getting bigger and bigger. If this continues, the child will definitely feel uncomfortable. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Li Chuiying and Liang Jinxiao did not say anything, but Feng Zhangxia acted in front of Zhao Yun'er. Yun'er, I know. Let me take a look at this baby. Zhao Yun'er hesitated for a moment before handing Tian over. After Feng Zhangxia carried Tian, she checked Tian's body. The child, who did not cry or make a fuss, opened its mouth and cried loudly in Feng Zhangxia's arms. While Tian cried miserably, Feng Zhangxia comforted her. Okay. I'm checking a rash. Why are you crying when it's good for you? Tian ignored Feng Zhangxia and continued to cry. You're such a disobedient child. Why are you crying when I'm treating your rashes? What are you going to do when you see the rashes on your body? Tian pursed her lips with an aggrieved look on her face, but her cries became softer. Feng Zhangxia put Tian on her lap and turned her over, ready to see Tian's butt. Just as he removed the diaper from Tian's butt and turned it over to check the heat rash on her, but he heard a thump and a slightly smelly smell spread out. Feng Zhangxia's face immediately darkened. So this child was a sh*t eater. No wonder she was crying so hard. The problem was of all times he had to leave when she was looking at her, but causing her hands to be covered in poop. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but laugh. Tian really gave her aunt something special. So dirty. Feng Zhangxia frowned and complained unhappily. Zhao Yun took Tian and said to Feng Zhangxia, Aunt, the child doesn't know any better. You're an adult. You won't be so calculative with her, right? The corner of Feng Zhangxia's mouth twitched. She could only admit that she was unlucky and replied, Of course I won't be calculative with a child. Am I such a petty person? Zhao Yun'er chuckled. That's good. Big Aunt, go wash your hands. Feng Zhangxia responded indifferently. She quickly got up and washed her hands with clean water. Fortunately, it wasn't an adult's poop, so the smell wasn't strong. She had raised 2 children and a grandson, so this kind of thing happened often. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.